me. Yes. I'm under my son. I'm under him, and you under me. So it's like a pyramid game. And really, I don't need you. You need me. I don't need you.
One of the petitioners threatens to attack one of
This video is sponsored by Play Stupid Games, Win Stupid Prizes. I'm not going to talk too much. Let's get into the craziness.
Oh, stop writing them letters on the mailboxes like I'm about to read it. You're not even reading it. Say that for a mail carrier that's going to read it. Because it's not going to be me. Put these packages in your mail wherever mailbox I feel like putting it in. Y'all, they fired me for that video, yo. They fired me for that video. USPS fired me for that video.
Exhibit A of Play Stupid Games, Win Stupid Prizes. And I know you guys have heard of my great friend before, but for those of you who haven't, let me introduce you to him.
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
Sarah Ioala, good morning.
Good morning.
Anybody. In
Oh, wow.
2014, during a depressive episode,
It's been so long, I don't...
$87.
Sarah Ioala, thanks for streaming Windrose.
Hey, no problem.
TikTok videos, and they're not a fan, so they need me to delete them. Every job has, I guess, different regulations, different policies. So should have checked that first. But I'll be making videos from home, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know why you thought it would be a good idea to record this, and I don't know why you recorded it. Maybe use your brain a little bit more.
Not only did they fire me, they banned me permanently from the premises and escorted me out to my car. I wasn't even allowed to walk through the building myself. The manager, that when you see him, you know there's a problem, comes and gets me, and he's like, pack up the money in your well. We're gonna move you around a little bit. I'm like, okay, you know, they need me to cover a break at another bar or whatever. So anyways, we walked down the stairs, and I'm like, okay, what bar are we going to? You know, so he walked straight into the office, so I followed him. And he was like, what I mean by we're moving you around is you're not going to be working.
Focus Luna, how are you doing today?
I am doing good.
Some videos you posted. I said, may I ask what videos I posted? He said, you know what you posted.
Focus Luna, how is the cats?
He's like, I'm going to need you to sign these termination letters.
They were alright. Buddy was just here trying to steal my lighter. I don't know where he went.
He was like, not following.
And Shoujo's in the bathroom like usual.
I don't know what video it was that she posted, but I can
Asleep
guarantee
in
more than likely it was a stupid video, and they were justified in firing her. Maybe when you have a full-time job, don't post stupid videos. Maybe that's a thought.
I should start a new game.
I just had this lady come over here and say,
Focus Luna laying in the sun again.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You can go to
Actually, I'm gonna start a new character because I don't remember a lot.
Tells me that she has more items. Girl, you know you're not supposed to be here.
Before we get back into the video, make sure you guys like the video as much as possible, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also mainly hit the notification bell so that you're notified when a video comes out. Also go and subscribe to my new Facebook channel. It'll be linked down in the description below, so go and subscribe there. But let us get back into the craziness.
Come with me as I get fired from my high-end private chef job. How do I know I'm getting fired? Because my private chef agency sent a strongly worded email about maintaining a professional front if we have a social media presence, and they have a one-strike policy regarding professionalism. For reference, I'm the only private chef on their roster with a social media presence. I'm also the only one who posts unprompted about glass 9/11 for what it's like to have a UTI on a 22-hour flight. The verdict is in and I'm officially fired. To their credit, they kindly encouraged me to perhaps pursue influencing full-time. For reference, I make not even close to a livable wage from posting videos. So if you're looking for a private chef, let me know.
Yeah, we don't know what you mean by a livable wage. In the world of feminism, a livable wage would be $10,000 a month. So yeah, I don't even know what you mean by that. Number two, you were stupid enough to post videos like this where they are on TikTok, and you thought you'd be able to keep your job as well. Maybe you should listen to what they said and pursue full-time social media influencer.
Yo, why did I forget the #1 rule? These people at your job is not your friend.
My job just fired me because they seen that video. So I want to let y'all know, you know, and I should have sued them when I had the chance. I should have sued that job when I had the chance. And I actually low-key still do have the chance because the EEOC says wait 180 days. But it's like, I don't want to take it there, but it's like I should have listened to y'all in the car. I should have sued that job when I had the chance.
Dexter Pack first message, hello.
Hello. Welcome. I'm hoping eventually this loads.
Dexter Pack, I'm new, I drop a follow.
Thank you very much.
Well, once again, this is what happens when you play stupid games. You win stupid prizes. Good job.
My ick is when you come in for your induction talking about, can I take a shower and eat? My ick is when you ask me how much the baby weighs and it's still in your hands.
What does that
Dad
mean?
comes outside.
They still don't know
and
what the
asks
baby
for
weighs.
a paternity test right outside the room door.
Saying you don't want any pain medicine, no epidural, but you are at an 8 out of 10 pain with just a Cervidil, and you're still closed.
Wow, it's taking a long time to load.
Your family member coming at the front desk asking for something else. Excuse me, can I have a blanket?
Another egg. When you're going room to room between one baby mama and your other baby mama.
Oh no.
Ick.
It's the unlimited trips to the nurse's station for me.
And for those of you who didn't see what happened, yes, they indeed got fired. This is what happens when you do stupid things. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you have a 9-to-5 job, do not post on social media, especially about your job and especially saying the things that they said.
I want to hear what everyone has to say.
Sarah Iowala, today is a good day.
At work that went viral.
Yeah,
My job
I'm
basically fired me for it.
Since it's taking a month to load, let's
So that TikTok had over 800,000 views and like 6,000 likes before my manager texted me and told me to take it down. And
I have
then
34 average viewers and
higher
I've
up
been
management, corporate
streaming
got
for
involved, and
15
they were
minutes.
going to terminate me if I didn't. So I took the TikTok down. I put in my 2 weeks. They made me leave halfway through my shift the day I put in my 2 weeks. And now I am no longer an ER nurse.
Sarah Iowala, people are already waiting for you to stream. I see 44 viewers.
Or do I just continue to try and fly under the radar?
I don't think you can restore a video you deleted. I might be wrong and maybe TikTok has some sort of different setup now, but yeah, if you delete that video, it's gone. Maybe
Julianne 789 here. Julianne 789, how is it going?
It's going good.
Sarah Iowala, oh, we are in weekend.
Yeah. I'm playing this because it was requested.
Julianne 789, glad to know that. Julianne 789, are you alright?
Yeah. I just had the more I got a smoker's cough. I smoked for 30 years. I cough a lot.
You can kind of see it here, but an Arnold Palmer is $269 and a large mango passion is $265. It's the same price.
Julianne 789, oh, I got you.
So for those of you who don't know, she did indeed get fired for this. I don't know why in the blue hell you think it would be a good idea to tell a bunch of strangers online secret things about the company you work for and how you thought it was a good idea to do that. But once again, as I've said, a lot of people are just stupid, unfortunately.
Get to work. That's all I've been doing is work.
Julianne 789, do you smoke nowadays?
I smoke marijuana occasionally, but I don't smoke cigarettes anymore.
I just want to come in here to get a breathe, you know, like get my breath. So I'll get to work. Let me get to work.
But I don't drink
Julianne
alcohol.
789, alright.
I don't drink alcohol. I don't completely abstain, but I don't regularly. It's got to be a special occasion for me to drink alcohol.
Julianne 789, that's great.
Like, in 2 weeks I'm going to my nephew's wedding. I'll probably have a couple drinks there. But I don't drink alcohol for no reason.
I'm gonna go out with you if you're gonna take me to a mission.
I've had a bottle of whiskey in my freezer for like 2 years.
Got enough that you'll dish out $300 for dinner.
Julianne 789, yeah, it's not good for health.
I really thought one guy would be like, oh,
Actual occasional alcohol use is good for your health.
try it because it tells you how desperate some guys are.
It's all about dosage. But that goes for everything. Like you can
Listen, I got nothing to hide. I don't care if people at work.
you could actually drink too much water
For that to happen, Toronto's
and
not
die.
that big of a city, I guess.
So it's all about dosage.
And why'd you tell my manager? Why'd you do that? I get it, we're a small company, but like, yo, put a finger down if tomorrow's your birthday and your company laid you off via an email this morning.
Well, maybe you can start your career in being a prostitute.
Okay, y'all. So yeah, that was the video. That's the video. To me, I thought it was funny. It's relatable. It's funny. Like, it's funny.
Julianne 789 BTW, do you like the animated room?
I do. I like it a lot.
Would get some type of views, but I did not think it would get over 500,000 views. And 90,000 on Instagram. So I was a little worried when I was.
I think that is going to work out great.
About me need to be fired and stuff like that. Okay, sorry, I got a text message from a now ex-coworker.
Actually, it's a week.
Julianne 789, aw, thanks.
My nephew's wedding is next weekend.
Okay, so yeah, I was worried about the
So I'm gonna have to adjust my schedule for that.
She was like, delete it. That lady there.
Because I won't be streaming next weekend.
Why are you even confused as to that?
Julianne 789, oh, congratulations.
I'm not getting married, my nephew is.
What you were expecting?
I lost my job 2 days before Christmas because of social media.
Oh.
I was told that
Julianne 789 LOL.
policy for the company that I previously worked for. I worked 8 years for that company. I busted my tail, all for that company as a supervisor. I was loyal and dedicated to that company. For them to fire me over personal social media handles that had nothing to do with the company, living my life the way I want to live it. That is just
I keep doing that.
Disrespect.
I'm used to 7 days to die. It's going to take me a little bit to get used to this
789,
game.
I mean, congratulations from my side to them.
Oh, okay.
Even if it's the case that you're recording a video that has nothing to do with the company, if someone knows the company and then sees you and knows that you work for
Julianne 789, haha.
do understand that. Now, I know this is 2026 where a lot of people are just stupid, and I mentioned that a lot of people are stupid, but that should be simple to understand. Whether you're doing things for yourself or not, and it doesn't have anything to do with the company, is irrelevant if you work under a company and the things that you're doing in your private life are posted in public. Yeah, well then the company do have a right to fire you for it.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna back out. I'm gonna start a new character because I'm a little bit lost.
Everybody needs a job. I didn't need that job. So she was like, well, okay, do you want to sign here? I'm like, nope, I'm not going to sign.
So yeah, I'm gonna start a new character. It'll be.
And that was that.
Yeah, they did a good job firing.
It'll be more fun that way too.
They terminated me. I look dumb just I'm kaput. I really got fired.
I'm gonna make it an open game, so if anybody wants to join,
Julianne 789, which character?
I'm gonna make a new one.
I just got fired from Starbucks after 4 years for laughing about Charlie Kirk getting deleted. My boss, a conservative, said that laugh was grounds for termination.
Julianne 789 on ice.
Worship her politician. Yeah, 4 years erased for laughing at Charlie Kirk.
Oh, you make a Mexican dude.
About Starbucks, I don't know what does.
It had nothing to do with worshipping anybody. If it's the case that you're laughing at someone for being assassinated, yeah, you deserve to get fired, and rightfully so. Of course, it's the case you will make it seem like she's worshipping him because of the fact that she respects someone. We get it. You guys don't understand respect, so you equate respect with worshiping someone. Now you can laugh at him with no job.
Make him a young guy. Should I be male or female? Hey, buddy. I'll be male. I'm gonna give him blue eyes, so.
Well, it kind of sucks to be you, seeing as you lost such an easy job making the amount you were making per hour because of the fact that you decided to post on social media to your strangers. And we can clearly see that there's definitely some things you need to work on just based on the fact that you were talking. Even though we can hear what you were saying, I can guarantee you were saying a lot of stupid things just by your mannerisms.
There we go. Well, then I don't want that. Wait, not that. Where's the one that
I just got terminated. Like a TikTok right now, ain't that right, Steve? Just terminated me at 2 p.m. after a 9-hour shift. I've been
There. Julianne 789, I'll send it to you on email so it won't be a pixel issue.
And deem them
Alrighty.
or to go against the code of whatever it is that these raggedy some got. I truly don't give a.
Yeah, you clearly don't care that you decided to make another video talking about how much you don't care, but we're gonna believe that you apparently don't care. Right.
There. We're gonna do that. Big old thick eyebrows. And darker hair. No, that's gray. How are we gonna do that?
I just checked my calendar and I have a sudden surprise meeting on my calendar.
Big old octopus on his chest.
With just a person from HR.
And an anchor on his back.
And also my boss's boss. So, pretty sure I know what that means. I feel like I've always been like a really good worker. I always get my work done on time. I like go above and beyond, but I guess, I mean, I'm assuming they probably saw the video that I put last week.
Well, the outfits that you showed us that are apparently HR approved are indeed not HR approved.
Alright. They need, like, face tattoos so they could be more Viking-like. The name be.
What happens when
Flacco. Oh, hey.
The more you fuck around, the more you're gonna find out.
What you said about me.
Flacco.
So let me find out if you talk behind my back.
Anybody know what Flacco means?
There. What? Anything else, ma'am?
No Spanish speakers here?
Well, it's more than likely the case that you lost your job after this, and that's what happens when you decide to do stupid things while you're working, especially.
Everybody has an outfit? I just got fired.
Yeah, Target sucks. Target sucks, man. She's a really good person, man. Target sucks. All you guys suck, man. For real, man. Target's whack, man.
Bye, Jesus. I love you.
Oh, yeah. Jesus is cool.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Well, the blue hair, you guys know what I say about it.
A man in Alabama wanted some ice cream, so he stopped by a spot called the Local Scoop. He had a less than positive experience, so he ended up leaving a negative review. And from that moment forward, he was hunted like Frodo Baggins. That was the biggest mistake of his life.
Honestly, I actually want to hear what this says.
Sarah Iowala, when are you going to the party?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday of next weekend. Next weekend, not this weekend. This in a week. We're leaving out Friday morning. We should get there Friday evening. It's like a 10-hour drive.
Already has a hit out on Carmelo Anthony.
The wedding's on Sunday, and then the Monday we're leaving out.
Will be handled accordingly. Soon as Carmelo Anthony touches down in a Texas prison, justice will be served.
So this is somebody that has clearly never been in jail before. Carmelo Anthony's going to be fine in jail, unless you get into it with somebody else or something. But let me tell you how this works. For one, the Aryan Brotherhood and the Texas prison, that's not California. You get what I'm saying? That's not California. And the prison system has a code of their own. You get what I'm saying? See, they have their own race riots going on all the time in prison. They don't let what happens on the street influence the time that they're doing, because if they start a race riot in prison, oh, it'll be bad, and nobody wants a race riot in prison. You understand what I'm saying? It's going to spread from prison to prison to prison, and they don't want that. So I don't know who his buddy is that told him this, but that's all false information. It doesn't work like that. They live by a different code in prison, for real. So the Aryan Brotherhood has a hit put out on Carmelo.
All right, what it do, everyday people, man? It's your boy PJ. Today we back with another lit video, back in the confessional. Yes, we staying lit, big dog, man. Shout out to my everyday people who rock with me every day. That you have my homegirl as your thumbnail. Who's your homegirl? Like, I don't know who that is. Anyway, she's probably a decent person. Listen, man, just like he said.
Hey, how you doing?
Politics are different. There's no way that you can say somebody will have a hit on them and you're walking around here free. First of all, if somebody has a hit on somebody in prison, guess who's about to know? Nobody. Nobody's going to know if somebody has a hit on them in prison. They're not bound by the laws of social media where we go out and tell all our business. When you're in prison, you shut up. The best thing about prison is that people keep their mouth closed. And unless they're snitches. But nah, if Carmelo had a hit on him, it would have never made the free world until Carmelo got killed. Once Carmelo got killed, people were like, oh, he had a target on his back. We knew it was going down. We tried to prevent it, but we couldn't prevent it from going down because of the way the jail works. And then you wouldn't even hear that directly from the person who's telling everything. They're gonna hear it from third sources. Like somebody gonna tell somebody, but nobody ever tell if they got a hit out on somebody, because the whole point for a hit is that the element of surprise.
Why aren't you? Consider yourself disposed, Cap.
In prison. So I hate that.
Take that art attack from him. Devil, take it, Captain Richards.
Everybody wants to interject.
It's filth. It's eating him.
This real life situation.
Holy Mary, protect us.
What? You get nothing. You get nothing for saying the Aryan Brotherhood, bro. Let me tell you this: anybody who knows that guy is not from the Aryan Brotherhood, because if they told him something and he wouldn't broadcast it on TikTok, he'll be a dead man. He'll be dead. Y'all, it's not no prison politics. Ain't no joke.
All gangs, even prison gangs, work by omerta, the code of silence.
People assume that
you keep your mouth shut. You don't talk about Anthony. Dude, like mob guys don't even talk about their business, let alone other people's business.
Like, Black Power. It stabbed this dude. It was not like that. It was. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, Carmelo Anthony. The Texas prisons are run by the Texas Aryan Brotherhood. He's not going to have a good time. I hope they don't kill him. I mean, even though killing him is probably more merciful than the other shit they're going to do to him. Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs, man.
Sarah Ioala LOL.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to have a good time in that Texas prison. I can tell you that right now. This is one of my favorite songs. I'm going to listen to it right quick.
With the Game of Life scratch off from the Pennsylvania Lottery, all roads lead to fun.
They can make things worse for me. Sometimes I'd rather die. They can tell me lots of things, but I can't
Hey,
see
buddy.
eye to eye. Well, I know they know the way I think. Know they always will. Someday I'm gonna change my mind. Sometimes I'd rather kill. Bloodstains, straight kills, fast cars, cheap thrills, ice girls, fine wine. I lost my sense, I lost control, I lost my mind. Things seem so much different now. The scene has died away. I haven't got a steady job, and I got no place to stay.
Ah, old school skate videos.
Things aren't what they seem. Someday you better wake
With
up.
the big bullet boards, hammerheads.
Bloodstains, straight kills, fast cars, cheap thrills, ice girls, fine wine. I lost my sense, I lost control, I lost my mind. Bloodstains, straight kills, fast cars, cheap thrills, ice girls, fine wine. I lost my sense, I lost control, I lost my mind.
All right, that was perfect timing. Forgot how to build shit. First thing I gotta do is build a bonfire, huh? I guess this spot's as good as any. let's just slap it down anywhere. What the hell? What's the other thing I gotta build is a tent or a workbench. What do I need? I need like a bunch of everything. Oh, what I can do is I need a couple more woods, and then that axe, and then I'm in business. Why am I heading towards that? I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, damn it. Well, this shit's gonna go anyway. Alright. Alright, first things first, let's get in here, arrange my belt. I'm gonna need that there, that there. Oh, I need to order a new cat tower. But that I don't need it until after I come back, so. Alright, I'm gonna need to eat something. I don't understand why there isn't a take all button. I feel like that would be a wise investment for this game. Oh my god. Man, I can't remember how to build a character in this game. There's a boar. Just what I'm looking for. I need to get a little closer. I'm going to kill this dodo because I don't like that guy. I can't tell what's a sow over there. I guess we're going in. I knew that was going to happen. And I hate that you always resurrect hungry. That's kind of a load of shit. And you only get experience for doing quests. That's another thing that's kind of bogus about this game. I can't just grind a character. Where did I kill that? Wow. Is that it? I don't know where I killed that boar. There is not enough room in my inventory. I don't think I necessarily need the seeds right now. I think they're 20 stacks. If anything, I want to start back here. No, I don't like that. I don't like it at all. I need more stone already? That's kind of bogus. But, what did I need? I needed stone. Oh, but I gotta craft new boots. Let's go find some stone. Hey, how you doing, buddy? He's gonna come over here and stare at me for a little bit, huh? Give you a little pet on your head. How's that? A little scratch behind the ear. You like that? That's stuff right there, huh? Where the hell's all the stone on this island? There we go. Oh. Alright, yeah. Let's come on in. Let me get this one. Can I not carry any more, you know what? Uh-huh, see? I know how to get around that. Oh, I took a horrible turn somewhere. I'm now lost in a cave. There it is. All right, well. enough resources. Oh, I need coarse fabric. Oh, I basically got to come out here and guess I just gotta. How do I pick it up?
Troubling symptoms.
I don't remember how I pick them up. Is it? Alright, hang on. We're gonna have to go online and look it up. Okay, I remember now. I remember now. And I'm gonna need something to I have to listen to something. Here, we can listen to this. This will
What
go
if some
for
of
a
the
while.
greatest cities in human history didn't disappear, but were simply forgotten? Archaeologists keep uncovering places that were never supposed to be found again. Entire cities buried beneath centuries of sand. Giant stone monuments whose purpose remains unknown. Hidden temples carved into cliffs. And the strangest part, many of these places were once among the most important locations on Earth. Tonight, we're travelling across some of the world's most mysterious archaeological sites, from a circular fortress in the deserts of Uzbekistan that nobody can fully explain, to a lost city hidden in the mountains of Yemen, to a forgotten settlement that remained underwater for thousands of years before a drought suddenly revealed it again. These aren't legends, these are real places, real discoveries, and each one leaves archaeologists with more questions than answers. So before we begin, take a moment to subscribe. Someone says everyone who subscribes to this channel receives 7 years of good luck. Now dim the lights, get comfortable. The ancient city built in the middle of a lava field. On a windswept plateau near the border of Armenia and Turkey lie the ruins of a city that once rivaled the greatest capitals of the medieval world. A city filled with grand cathedrals, palaces, markets, and towering stone walls visible for miles across the landscape. At its peak, more than 100,000 people may have lived here. Merchants arrived from distant kingdoms, caravans crossed continents to reach its gates, and travellers called it the City of 1,001 Churches. Today, however, it stands abandoned, silent, broken, and surrounded by a landscape of volcanic rock and open grasslands. This remarkable place is known as Ani, and it remains one of the most haunting lost cities on Earth. The ruins sit on a high plateau carved by deep river gorges. The location was carefully chosen. Steep cliffs protected much of the city naturally, while massive defensive walls guarded the remaining approaches. Anyone arriving at Ani would have immediately understood its importance. This was not a village. It was a major capital, a centre of wealth, religion, and power. The city flourished during the medieval kingdom of Armenia. By the 10th and 11th centuries, Ani had become one of the most important cities in the region. Trade routes connected it to the Byzantine Empire, Persia, Central Asia, and the Arab world. Merchants carried silk, spices, metals, textiles, and countless other goods through its markets. The city grew rich. Its rulers used that wealth to build monumental architecture on an astonishing scale. Even today, the ruins remain impressive. The Cathedral of Ani still dominates the skyline. Its massive stone walls rise above the surrounding landscape despite centuries of damage. Nearby stand the remains of churches, chapels, towers, and public buildings scattered across the plateau. Each structure hints at a city that was once among the greatest urban centres of its age. One of the most fascinating aspects of Ani is its setting. The city sits within a region shaped by ancient volcanic activity. Dark volcanic stone was used throughout construction. Builders transformed local materials into elegant churches and defensive walls. The result was a city that seemed to emerge naturally from the landscape itself. Stone from the earth became stone architecture. The city and its surroundings became inseparable. Visitors often describe Ani as feeling strangely isolated. The vast open plains create a sense of emptiness. Wind moves through ruined doorways. Grass grows where crowded streets once stood. The silence can be overwhelming. Yet 1,000 years ago, this same place would have been filled with noise, markets bustling with activity, church bells ringing, travellers arriving from distant lands, life unfolding in every direction. One mystery that continues to intrigue historians is the exact size of Ani during its peak. Some medieval accounts describe an enormous population, others may have exaggerated. Archaeologists continue debating how many people truly lived within the walls. Regardless of the precise number, there is no doubt that Ani was one of the most significant cities in the medieval world. Its influence stretched far beyond Armenia. The city also witnessed dramatic political changes. Over the centuries, control passed between different empires and kingdoms. Armenians, Byzantines, Seljuks, Georgians, and others all left their mark. Each period added new layers to the city's history, yet these changes also brought instability. Wars damaged parts of the city, trade routes shifted, political power moved elsewhere, then nature delivered another blow. Powerful earthquakes struck the region, buildings collapsed, sections of the city were destroyed. The decline became increasingly difficult to reverse. Gradually people left, markets closed, churches emptied, the once great capital faded into silence. For centuries, Ani remained largely forgotten. Its monuments stood alone above the river gorge while empires rose and fell around them. Travellers occasionally described the ruins, but few understood the city's former importance. Only modern archaeology began revealing the true scale of what had been lost. Today, Ani is recognised as one of the most extraordinary archaeological sites in the world, not because of treasure, not because of conquest, but because it preserves the remains of an entire civilization's golden age. A city built from volcanic stone, a crossroads of cultures and trade, a forgotten capital abandoned to the wind, and one of the most breathtaking lost cities ever discovered. A strange circular city built 4,000 years ago. In the vast grasslands of southern Russia lies the remains of a city so unusual that archaeologists initially struggled to believe what they were seeing. A perfectly planned settlement, built in the shape of a giant circle, protected by defensive walls, filled with carefully arranged houses, and constructed nearly 4,000 years ago. From the air, the ruins look almost modern, as though someone drew them using a compass before building an entire town around the design. Why would ancient people create such a place? Who lived here? And why was the city suddenly abandoned? This remarkable site is known as Archaeum, and it remains one of the most mysterious archaeological discoveries ever made on the Eurasian steppe. The story of Archaeum almost ended before it began. In the 1980s, the area was scheduled to be flooded as part of a reservoir project. Before construction could begin, archaeologists were sent to investigate the region. They discovered changed everything. Beneath the soil lay the remains of a settlement unlike any previously found in the area. The site was so important that plans to flood the valley were eventually abandoned. Archaeum was saved, and its mysteries could finally be studied. Viewed from above, the city reveals its most remarkable feature. It is almost perfectly circular. Two concentric defensive walls surround the settlement. Inside those walls stood dozens of houses arranged in an organised ring. Roads and passageways connected different sections of the city. Everything appears carefully planned. Nothing seems accidental. The level of organisation is extraordinary for a settlement dating to around 2000 BC. At a time when many communities were still relatively small, Archaeum displayed sophisticated urban planning. The builders clearly understood engineering, construction and community design. One of the most fascinating aspects of the site is how advanced it appears. Archaeologists discovered evidence of drainage systems, furnaces, workshops and metalworking activities. The inhabitants were skilled craftspeople. They produced bronze tools and weapons. They managed resources carefully. And they lived within a settlement designed for both practicality and defence. The city was not simply a collection of homes, it was a highly organised community. Researchers believe Archaeum belonged to the Sintashta culture, the Bronze Age society that occupied parts of the Eurasian steppe. These people may have played an important role in the development of chariot technology, one of the most significant military innovations of the ancient world. Evidence from nearby sites suggests that some of the earliest known chariots emerged in this region. If true, the people of Archaeum may have helped shape the future of warfare across vast areas of Eurasia. One mystery continues to puzzle archaeologists. Why was the city abandoned? Excavations revealed evidence that Archaeum was deliberately burned. Large sections of the settlement were destroyed by fire. But whether the fire resulted from an attack, an accident, or a planned abandonment remains uncertain. Some researchers believe the inhabitants intentionally burned parts of the city before leaving. If so, why? The answer remains unknown. Perhaps changing environmental conditions forced people to relocate. Perhaps social or political changes altered life on the steppe. Or perhaps the city fulfilled a purpose that ended unexpectedly. The evidence provides clues, but no final explanation. The circular design has also inspired endless debate. Was the layout purely defensive? Did it hold symbolic meaning? Was it connected to astronomy or religious beliefs? Various theories have been proposed over the years. Some are supported by evidence, others are highly speculative. The true reason behind the city's unusual shape remains one of Archaeum's greatest mysteries. For centuries, the ruins lay hidden beneath the grasslands. Empires rose and fell across Eurasia. Nomads crossed the steppe. Kingdoms appeared and vanished. Yet the circular city remained buried and forgotten. Only modern archaeology brought it back into the light. Today, Archaeum is recognised as one of the most important Bronze Age sites in the world. Not because of treasure, not because of famous rulers, but because it reveals a level of planning and sophistication few expected from such an ancient settlement. Hidden beneath the Russian steppe lay a strange circular city, a city built 4,000 years ago, a place of engineers, craftsmen and unanswered questions, and one of the most fascinating mysteries of the Bronze Age world. The giant stone tombs scattered across a desert plateau. Rising from the edge of the Arabian desert are hundreds of mysterious stone tombs that have puzzled archaeologists for decades. They sit alone on rocky hillsides, scattered across barren slopes, silent beneath the desert sun, and from the air they appear like ancient markers left behind by a forgotten civilization. Who built them? Who was buried inside them? And why were so many constructed in one of the harshest landscapes in Arabia? These remarkable monuments are known as the Jebel Hafit tombs, and they represent some of the oldest stone structures ever discovered in the United Arab Emirates. The tombs are located around Jebel Hafit, a towering mountain that rises dramatically above the surrounding desert near the city of Al-Ain. The landscape feels ancient. Rocky ridges stretch toward the horizon. dry valleys cut through the terrain, and the mountain dominates everything around it. For thousands of years, travellers crossing the region would have seen Jebel Hafit from miles away. It served as a landmark in a vast and unforgiving environment. But hidden along its slopes lies something even more remarkable. Hundreds of small, circular stone tombs. At first glance, the tombs appear simple. Most are built from carefully stacked stones, arranged into low, circular structures. Many have partially collapsed over time. Others remain surprisingly intact despite their age. Yet together they form one of the largest prehistoric burial landscapes in Arabia. Researchers believe the tombs were constructed more than 5,000 years ago during the early Bronze Age. That makes them older than many famous monuments elsewhere in the world. The people who built them lived at a time when communities across Arabia were beginning to establish trade networks and permanent settlements. Yet surprisingly little is known about them. They left no written records, no historical accounts, only the tombs themselves. One of the most fascinating discoveries came when archaeologists excavated several of the structures. Inside, they found human remains along with pottery and other artifacts. Some objects originated far from the region. Evidence suggested that even 5,000 years ago, people living near Jebel Hafit were connected to trade routes stretching across the Arabian Peninsula and beyond. The desert was not isolated. It was part of a larger world. The tombs also reveal something about how these ancient communities viewed death. Building hundreds of stone monuments required effort, planning, and cooperation. The dead were clearly important. Families invested time and resources creating burial places designed to endure long after life ended. The structures may have served as lasting reminders of ancestors whose memory remained central to the community. One mystery continues to intrigue researchers. Why were the tombs concentrated around Jebel Hafit? The mountain itself may have held special significance. Its towering presence dominates the landscape. Perhaps it was considered sacred. Perhaps it marked an important territory. Or perhaps generations simply chose to bury their dead beneath a landmark that could be seen from great distances. The true answer has been lost to time. Another fascinating aspect is how the tombs blend into the landscape. From a distance, many are difficult to notice. The stones match the surrounding terrain so closely that the structures almost disappear into the desert. Only when viewed from above does the full scale of the cemetery become apparent. Hundreds of tombs spread across the mountain slopes are pieces of a giant prehistoric puzzle. For thousands of years, these monuments remained exposed to wind, heat, and sandstorms. Empires rose and fell nearby. Trade routes changed. Civilizations appeared and vanished. Yet the tombs endured, quietly watching over the desert plateau, preserving the memory of people whose names have long been forgotten. Today, the Jebel Hafit tombs are considered one of the most important archaeological discoveries in the Arabian Peninsula. Not because of treasure, not because of kings, but because they offer a rare glimpse into the lives of some of the region's earliest communities. Scattered across a desert mountain are hundreds of ancient stone tombs, silent monuments built 5,000 years ago.
I needed to
a forgotten
expand that,
cemetery
that's why.
beneath the Arabian sky, and one of the oldest mysteries in the deserts of the Middle East. The ancient site filled with hundreds of stone pillars. In the highlands of northern Ethiopia stands an ancient site unlike any other on Earth. A landscape filled with towering stone pillars, some reaching the height of modern buildings, others weighing hundreds of tons, all carved from single pieces of stone and raised by a civilization that flourished nearly 2,000 years ago. For centuries, travellers who encountered these monuments struggled to understand them. Why were they built? How were they raised? And what kind of society possessed the knowledge and resources to create structures on such an enormous scale? Today, these mysterious monuments are known as the Stelae of Aksum, and they remain among the most extraordinary achievements of the ancient world. The story begins in the ancient city of Aksum, once the capital of the kingdom of Aksum. At its peak, Aksum was one of the most powerful states in Africa. Its influence stretched across parts of modern Ethiopia, Eritrea, Sudan, and beyond. Trade routes connected the kingdom to Egypt, Arabia, India, and even the Roman world. Merchants carried ivory, gold, spices, textiles, and countless other goods through its markets. The city became wealthy, and that wealth helped create one of history's most remarkable monumental landscapes. Today, the first thing visitors notice is the forest of stone pillars rising from the earth. Some stand upright, others lie broken where they fell centuries ago. Yet even collapsed, their scale is astonishing. The tallest surviving examples reach more than 20 metres into the sky. The largest unfinished stela would have stood over 30 metres tall if completed. It remains one of the largest single blocks of stone ever attempted in the ancient world. What makes these monuments even more remarkable is their design. Many are carefully carved to resemble multi-storey buildings. False doors adorn the face. Rows of carved windows cover the surface. Architectural details create the illusion that the stone pillars are giant towers frozen in time. The craftsmanship required to achieve such precision was extraordinary. Every feature had to be carved directly into solid granite. One of the greatest mysteries involves construction. How did ancient builders transport and raise monuments weighing hundreds of tons? The technology available at the time was limited, but somehow workers quarried massive stones, moved them across the landscape and erected them upright. Researchers believe large labour forces, wooden rollers, ropes and carefully engineered ramps have been involved. Even so, the achievement remains astonishing. The stelae are closely connected to burial traditions. Archaeologists discovered elaborate tombs beneath and around many of the monuments. These underground chambers likely belonged to powerful rulers and elite members of society. The towering pillars above served as markers visible across the landscape, symbols of status, memory, and royal authority. The larger the monument, the greater the prestige. At least that appears to have been the intention. One of the most fascinating aspects of Axum is how little known it remains compared to other ancient civilizations. Many people recognise Egypt, Rome or Greece. Far fewer know that Axum was once considered one of the great powers of its age. Ancient writers described its wealth and influence. Its kings minted their own coins, its merchants traded across continents, and its rulers built monuments rivaling some of the most famous structures in the world. The site also preserves evidence of dramatic change. During the 4th century, Axum became one of the earliest kingdoms to adopt Christianity. New religious traditions transformed the city. Churches appeared, older customs evolved. Yet the giant stelae remained part of the landscape, silent reminders of earlier generations. One monument in particular has become famous. Known as the Great Stela, it collapsed in antiquity and now lies broken into massive sections. Had it remained standing, it would have been one of the tallest monolithic structures ever erected anywhere on Earth. Its fall remains a mystery. Perhaps it collapsed during construction. Perhaps an earthquake brought it down. The exact cause remains uncertain. For centuries, the stelae stood exposed to weather, conflict and time. Empires rose and fell around them. Trade routes shifted. The ancient kingdom declined. Yet the monuments endured, guarding the memory of a civilization that once connected Africa to the wider world. Today, the stelae field of Axum stands as one of the most important archaeological sites in Africa. Not because of treasure, not because of conquest, but because it reveals the achievements of a civilization whose influence stretched across continents. A site filled with hundreds of towering stone pillars, a monument to forgotten kings, a masterpiece of ancient engineering, and one of the most extraordinary mysteries of the ancient world. The lost royal city found deep in the Sudanese desert. Rising above the deserts of northern Sudan is a mountain that has shaped the history of kingdoms, pharaohs and empires for nearly 3,000 years. At first glance, it doesn't seem especially remarkable, a solitary sandstone peak rising from an otherwise flat landscape. But for ancient rulers, this mountain was one of the most sacred places on Earth. Kings travelled here to claim their right to rule. Temples were built at its base, armies marched beneath its shadow, and entire dynasties believed their power came directly from the gods who lived here. This remarkable place is known as Gebel Barkal, and hidden around it are the remains of one of Africa's greatest lost royal cities. The mountain stands beside the Nile River in northern Sudan. Although only about 100 metres high, its appearance is striking. A dramatic sandstone pinnacle rises from one side of the formation, creating a shape that ancient people considered deeply symbolic. To them, this was not simply a mountain. It was a sacred landmark connected to divine power. For centuries, rulers believed the gods themselves resided here. The story of Gebel Barkal begins thousands of years ago. when the region became an important centre of the Kingdom of Kush. This powerful African civilization controlled vast territories along the Nile and eventually became one of the greatest kingdoms in the ancient world. Its rulers built cities, temples, pyramids and monuments that rivaled those of Egypt. Yet despite its importance, much of Kush remains unfamiliar to many people today. Gebel Barkal stood at the heart of that kingdom. At the base of the mountain, archaeologists uncovered the remains of temples, palaces, ceremonial buildings and royal structures. The most important was a massive temple dedicated to Amun, one of the most powerful gods of the ancient Nile world. Pilgrims travelled here, priests performed sacred rituals here, and kings came seeking divine approval before taking the throne. The city surrounding the temple became one of the most important religious centres in Africa. One of the most fascinating aspects of Gebel Barkal is its connection to Egypt. For centuries, Egyptian pharaohs controlled parts of Nubia and considered the mountain sacred. Later, the rulers of Kush adopted many Egyptian traditions while maintaining their own identity. Eventually, Kushite kings grew so powerful that they conquered Egypt itself. For a time, the pharaohs ruling Egypt came from Sudan. Their connection to Gebel Barkal remained central to their authority. The mountain became a symbol of legitimacy for rulers across the Nile Valley. Archaeologists have uncovered remarkable evidence of this royal past. Temples filled with carvings, statues of kings, inscriptions describing ceremonies and victories. Every discovery reveals a civilization that was wealthy, sophisticated, and deeply connected to the wider ancient world. Yet many mysteries remain. One mystery involves the mountain itself. Why did ancient people consider this particular place sacred? Some researchers believe the unique shape of the sandstone pinnacle resembled a royal crown or a sacred symbol associated with Amun. Others suggest the mountain's dramatic appearance simply inspired awe. Whatever the reason, its importance endured for centuries. The landscape around Gebel Barkal also contains pyramids. Not one or two, but entire groups of royal pyramids built for Kushite kings and queens. Although smaller than Egypt's most famous pyramids, they are equally fascinating. Together they create one of the most
I'm out of clay because
regions in Africa.
I don't have a
The area
bonfire.
served as a centre of religion, government and royal power for generations. Eventually, however, the fortunes of Kush began to change. Trade routes shifted, political rivals emerged, new powers rose across the region. Gradually the great royal city declined. Its temples fell silent, its palaces crumbled. The desert slowly reclaimed what people had built. For centuries the ruins remained hidden beneath sand and time. Yet the sacred mountain endured, watching over the landscape just as it had for thousands of years. Today, Gebel Barkal stands as one of the most important archaeological sites in Africa. Not because of treasure, not because of conquest, but because it preserves the story of a civilization powerful enough to rule an empire and challenge the greatest kingdoms of the ancient world. Deep in the Sudanese desert stands a sacred mountain. Beneath its shadow lies a lost royal city, a centre of kings, temples and forgotten power, and one of the most extraordinary hidden worlds of the ancient Nile, the Forgotten Temple, hidden in a forest of limestone peaks. Deep within the jungles of central Vietnam lies a forgotten sanctuary surrounded by towering limestone mountains and dense tropical forests. For centuries, nature concealed its temples beneath thick vegetation. Trees grew through ancient walls, roots wrapped around stone carvings, and the jungle slowly reclaimed what an entire civilization had once considered sacred. Yet hidden among these forest-covered ruins are the remains of one of Southeast Asia's most important religious centres, a place where kings prayed, priests performed ceremonies, and generations of rulers sought the blessing of the gods. This remarkable site is known as My Sun, and it remains one of the most fascinating lost temple complexes in Asia. The sanctuary sits within a secluded valley surrounded by dramatic limestone peaks. The location feels almost hidden from the outside world. Mountains rise on every side, dense vegetation blankets the landscape. Even today, visitors often feel as though they have stepped into another age. It is easy to understand why ancient rulers considered this place special. The valley possesses a natural sense of isolation and mystery. Thousands of years ago, this was the spiritual heart of the Champa kingdom. The Cham people controlled large sections of
Alright, hang on. This guy's putting me to sleep, man. Jesus, he's so boring.
Developed
Now Europe had enough. America's
All
heading
right.
to the direction of third worldification. Europe is already there. They're already the third world. I'm sorry if you're hearing it for the first time, but we're there. So Rupert Lowe just released the Pakistani grooming gang files, and we're going to talk about the responses to that. But first, I have to show you public sentiment. This is literally in the EU. Send them back, chanting in the EU. The Overton window is destroyed. All right, to quote Stephen Miller, the baldest Jew I know.
The last message that Charlie sent was, I think it was just the day before we lost it, which is that we need to have an organized strategy to go after the left-wing organizations that are promoting violence in this country. And I will write those words onto my heart and I will carry them out. There's incredible sadness, but there's incredible anger. And the thing about anger is that unfocused anger or blind rage is not a productive emotion. Right. But focused anger, righteous anger, directed for a just cause is one of the most important agents of change in human history. The last...
Completely right, actually. So, Rupert Lowe dropped the Rape Gang Inquiry Report. Over 1 million people have clicked this link and read through it. Way more are talking about it. Just one post has over 45 million views on Twitter, aside from it being reposted and covered everywhere by civilians. The media did not mention it. I gave them 3 days. It is, at the time of recording this, exactly 72
I need more
hours
stone.
since this dropped. Okay? Understand.
Which will
My
be
bad,
found
it's
over here.
71 and a half hours since this dropped. Understand it has been 3 days. 3 days. And no mainstream media source covered the fact that it was exposed that there were 250,000 British children raped by Muslims in the United Kingdom. Okay? Understand the level of evil we're dealing with. Okay? Piers Morgan notoriously said, there are a lot of white English people I would trade for a good weekly chicken tikka masala. This is an old tweet of his. I'm not trying to make it seem like this was a response to this. It was from like 6 months ago. But understand that this tweet is very real. You traded 250,000 British children, young girls, for your weekly chicken tikka masala. Understand what you have done to your country. The establishment meltdown is reaching new heights. Not that they're talking about the grooming gang. No, no, no. They have decided that now Rupert Lowe is enemy number 1 for publishing it. Rupert Lowe is rapidly becoming the most dangerous man you've ever heard of. Well, you've heard of me. All right, it's getting there. We are breaching containment. Piers Morgan responds to the grooming gang scandal, stating many thousands of young girls were raped and abused in the grooming gang scandal by Muslims, which he leaves out, crimes that were painfully covered up by the authorities. But the 250,000 victim statistic was invented, and according to this independent report, massively exaggerated. Oh, he found an independent report that said that it wasn't actually 250,000 children that were raped. Maybe it was only like 200,000 girls that were raped by Muslims imported into the country. Understand the level of evil we're dealing with if this is your criticism. Just out of curiosity, Piers Morgan, what is an acceptable amount of young British girls that you would be okay with getting raped? What is the number that you're okay with, Piers Morgan? If 250,000 seems exaggerated, maybe only like 100,000, would that be like okay? Just trying to understand exactly what's going on here. So, anywho, mate, you're not talking about this at Tucker Carlson. In fact, all of Podcastistan is ignoring it. All these people that claim to care about, I don't know, Palestine or something, seem to not give a shit about this at all. Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, all these big voices, all the people talking about the Epstein files, but none of them seem to care.
Oh yeah, I don't like that. That's ugly.
People about the Epstein files dead silent about the UK Muslim rape gang. 2 reasons. 1, this report cannot be used to hurt President Trump. Number 2, they both actually are totally fine with the Islamization of the West. Interesting. And now, in fact, Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, the 2 people that have been pushing the Epstein shit, between them, they've collected about $1 million from Islamist backers. And suspiciously, they're both dead silent about one of the worst atrocities ever
Yeah, that looks much better.
Western civilization. What is sicker than importing barbarians to rape your children and then cover up the rapes so you don't seem racist? It's one of the most abominable things ever done on such a massive, widespread scale across the whole Western world. This is just in England. Or let alone how many of these rape gangs are running around in Sweden and in France and in Germany and in Belgium and in America that we don't even know about because the governments keep covering it up, with an estimated 87 to 95% of the gang rapes being Muslim. You're going to tell me that this isn't something that we should be discussing? Right, Mr. Epstein guy? Just for the record, this is about 1 million times worse than Epstein, and it's not even close. The scale, the government cover-up, it's a nightmare. Marjorie Trader Green says, this report detailed the rape of 250,000 girls dating back to the 50s in Britain by mostly Pakistani men. Horrifying. I will also add that no one was held accountable for Epstein files, which is also bad. Unbelievable. Just actually unbelievable. It's like, yo, let's make the rape of 250,000 British girls about Jeffrey Epstein. Complete silence from the BBC on our rape gang inquiry report. A truly despicable organization. 2 million views, 150,000 likes, and that's just true. It is unbelievably shocking the way the media just decides, yeah, we're not going to cover the industrial rape of our country. All right, so Rupert Lowe was actually on Sky News. And they started asking about something else, but he shifted to talk about the rape gangs, which is obviously, in my opinion, the biggest story out there right now, anywhere on the planet, at least it should.
Hey, what's up?
And they cut the interview.
Attempt, I think, by a failing party, and if you read my rape gang inquiry, which came out.
Roxanne Wolf 92 hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Crowdfunded, the British government refused to do the investigation.
I've covered it. I haven't seen you.
I'm gonna hang out. And,
Roxanne Wolf 92 my fave RTS game Go Shadow dropped to Steam.
And the Labour Party are right at the centre of it all.
Mr. Lowe, thank you very much for talking to Sky News. Thank you to
my pleasure.
Thank you very.
See that? Do you see that? The way they just cut it off immediately?
Roxanne Wolf 92 link.
If you covered the rape gang inquiry. Mr. Lowe, thank you for coming.
well, I can't go right now.
Roxanne Wolf 92 I'm so fucking happy.
Muslim migrants raping 250,000 white girls and pulled through with the full support of the British government, maybe the most outrageous crime against children since the Holocaust. Democrats are more outraged over a patriotic UFC fight than 250,000 British girls being raped by Pakistani Muslims. That says it all. True. Representative Brandon Gill. All right, we got some goats. We got some goats in America fighting the good fight. I just have to say.
And you've seen what happened in the DFS Metroplex, where you've seen massive migration, transforming communities right here in places that you wouldn't otherwise expect. And again, this is something that if we don't stop now, it's going to be my daughter and daughters across the country who are going to be going to public school wearing burqas, and that's the kind of stuff that we want to stop. We want to recognize that our job is to protect and preserve and serve as conservatives. We should want to conserve the America that we got to grow up in. And we do not do that by bringing in cultures who have very different ideas about freedom of speech, religion, separation of church and state, the dignity of women, the role of women in public. We have very different conceptions about how Muslims and non-Muslims interact. And those different ideas matter. And this is a good example of that.
All right, come on. And again, so Congresswoman Yasmin Ansari, interesting. Again, notice how every single governor, congressman, and congresswoman is literally a leftoid that's trying to support more retards. Understand? Brandon Gill might be the most racist, useless Republican in Congress, and that's saying something. Calling us racist won't work anymore, says Brandon Gill. Taylor, this is a quote from the rape gang inquiry. Before they raped him, they would chant, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Translation, in the name of Allah, most gracious and most merciful, and then they would rape his child. Okay? Understand, you calling him racist doesn't work anymore. Alright, and massive racism, obviously. Now, of course, the crazy is history. So Tyson Goodsell, 17-year-old, was executed by a gang of Somalis. Which were on GPS trackers for violent crimes May in Minnesota. Isn't that interesting? Abdi Qadar Fakti Mohideen, a Somali second-degree murderer, was on conditional release with GPS. All right, Ryan Robert Woolner of aiding charges. All right, and Ahmed Mohammed Mohamud, again aiding charges. Priors include attempted murder and firearms. And Ahmed Fuad Mohamud, aiding charges. Understand exactly what we're doing. All right, so 3 of 4 are Somali Muslims that murdered this innocent guy, and they all had priors, and we just let them back out into public. This is in fact a major issue everywhere. The leftoid soft on crime policies tied with importing retards is destroying us. All right, now again, in the United Kingdom, do you know what the response is to the grooming gang inquiry?
I'm short on nails.
So much information now that mass rape of British girls by Pakistani Muslims. Guess how the left responded?
Racist gone? Off our streets! Whose streets? Our streets! Whose streets? Our streets! When migrants are under attack, what do we do? Stand up!
Migrants are under attack.
Fight back! What do we do? Stand up!
They're literally fighting against Islamophobia. And it's pretty awesome that this is coming from a nose ring having transgender Satanist. You can't even make this up, by the way. It's honestly insane. It really is. So this man's daughter was kidnapped and abused by a Pakistani rape gang. He tried to rescue her from the property, and the British police arrested him for it.
I'd got a phone call to say where Elizabeth was, so I come across, because I lived on next estate, I come across, banged on the door, I saw a movement in the curtain, then within probably 5 minutes, the police car arrived. They asked me what I was doing, I told them, they arrested me, and took me back to where I live, and then they arrested me. So obviously I'm sat in house again, and I will getting more and more frustrated. So I come back over to the flat.
1 hour later or something?
It was about 20 minutes. So it seemed within minutes, a van pulled up this time, and I think there were 2 or 3 officers. They arrested me, took me down to the police station. Took me to the police station. They didn't take me to they usually charge people and that. They took me straight through into a room near cells. So I'm in there. About half an hour later, they come and got me, come on, you're going. I went, what do you mean? Just follow me, they said. So I followed them, and they took me through officers and out from where police station is, where public went. And they warned me if I come back to the flat, I'd be arrested for stalking.
Look at that. His daughter getting raped by migrants. He goes there and they arrest him for stalking.
I got no nails? What the hell's that all about?
To this absolute dead silence of all of mainstream media. You know, Cenk Uygur, Hassan Piker, they don't give a shit.
Inventory's
None
full.
of them care. This is a 13-year-old girl telling how scary it is to go to school.
Give me a party.
And you go to a local school?
Yeah.
Have you lived in this area all your life?
Yeah.
You're having problems at school. Can you just elaborate on the kind of problems that you're having?
Asian boys coming up to me and saying...
Asian means Pakistani, by the way.
I'm gonna rape you.
Yeah, it's not fucking Japanese people that are doing this, for the record.
And if you don't go with me, I'm gonna punch you in the face with a knuckle duster. And if you don't, give me a blowjob.
And this is happening at the school to several girls, it's not an individual case?
No, it's happening to lots of girls.
Do you think the teachers and the...
It's literally insane. Like, imagine having a zoo, and you decided you are going to put polar bears in the same exact environment as penguins. Right? You're going to put them in the same enclosure, and you're going to see what fucking happens. This is what they are doing on an industrial scale in the UK. They are taking retards from the third world, and they are putting them with sheltered, innocent girls that, well, they're banned from social media. Social media ban in England, so that they don't even know what's happening in the world. And you just don't expect the animal instinct to take over for these fucking sand barbarians that they're putting in the same enclosures as these people.
Authorities are aware of this?
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably aware that the...
And then they go to their local mosque, and the local imam explains to them how actually subjugating and raping white women is your right as a Muslim. All right, it is your. They are infidels, actually. Right? And you really just. Oh, it's just another culture. They're lucky to be able to experience another culture so firsthand.
Edge of the City program focused on young girls like yourself who've been targeted by Asians to be groomed in this particular area. Do you think that was an accurate description of what is happening?
Yes.
Have you contacted the police regarding them threatening to rape you?
Yeah.
And what's the police response has been?
They said that they're gonna look into it.
They're gonna look
And that is it?
guys.
Yeah.
What's your teacher's response been?
Pupils are gonna get excluded for 15 school days.
Oh, they're gonna be suspended for 2 weeks. That's nice.
Right, and that is it?
Yeah.
There's also the accusation that young Asian males are hanging outside schools in flash cars, basically intimidating young girls like yourself with threats. Is that the case?
Yeah.
And this is happening, what, once a week, twice a week?
Every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
And the authorities know it's happening, but they're not doing anything about it? How do you feel when you're targeted by these people?
I feel intimidated by him and scared.
Can you imagine an entire culture that has... Listen, man, Western civilization made a lot of progress since the Dark Ages. These guys didn't get to the fucking Dark Ages. Understand, 13-year-old girl talks about how scary it is. This is fucking insane. Why are little girls in Britain living like this? This is unreal. Judge granted Jamaican pedophile the right to enter Britain, as barring him would breach his human rights. What about our human rights? It's absolute insanity, and y'all fucking know who the judge was, by the way. All right, we know who the judge was. You know, it was a liberal white woman that was fighting against injustice or something, and then they did this. And then they did this to you. Right? Elon Musk says the report is the tip of the enormous iceberg of evil. And the truth is, big announcement from Asmongold said he would stream the entire UK rape gang report. He apparently just did this. Now, the truth of the matter is, it's citizen journalists that are saving the world. Right? Every single person, every single retard that's sitting there and preaching for women's rights and stuff like that, my misogynistic ass that says that a woman actually would be best off if she was married to a husband that loves her and wants to take care of her and has a lot of children. I am the one actually defending women's rights. You know, the right to not get raped by a barbarian in preschool. Asmongold, the guy that everyone's shitting on for saying that women are going to be out of jobs when AI takes over or whatever. He's the one that's fighting for women, not any of these leftists that are literally covering this up. Not any of these feminists that are afraid to be called.
Alright, hang on. I gotta run to the bathroom right quick.
It's so bad, dude.
I will be right back.
It's the most dystopian thing in the world. It really is. Before getting too deep into the chaos, free cash was promised to me 3,000 years ago. One thing I recently added to my daily routine is using free cash for a few minutes here and there. If I'm gonna play games as a time sponge, I might as well make some money out of it. Free cash is a fun and easy way to earn real money by doing simple tasks while already on your phone. Play games, complete surveys, do simple tasks, and turn your bathroom break into an investment. I've been enjoying playing Call to Dragons on free cash, a high payout strategy-based building game. You get instant payouts with a really easy process through PayPal, Amazon, or Visa. There's already over $250 million paid out to over 60 million users worldwide. It's a win-win. They get someone to test out their games and fill out their surveys, and you get paid. Use the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to sign up and get a $10 bonus today. Now, back to the chaos. Every individual sign-up literally supports the channel, so if you could click the link in the description and do the thing, that would be very appreciated.
Hello, dear European and American patriots. Tomorrow, I may be sentenced to
Dude, it's a nightmare. Wait, actually, I'm going to show this to you in a few minutes, just so you have context. But you have to understand the response that the rape gang inquiry was getting from people. Because the response should radicalize the fuck out of you. It really should.
County lines are phone lines, not border demarcations. You can't traffic people over them. The rape...
And it's many such cases.
Rape gang inquiry report is junk. All right, so this video has 4 million views.
The rape gang inquiry report.
4 million views, 600 likes.
Out.
Yeah.
How the fuck could you even have that reaction? When, like, again, in the rape gang inquiry, which I covered briefly before, you know, some of the more viral excerpts, it's Pakistani Muslims, like 4 of them, taking a Jack Daniels bottle and shattering it inside of the vagina of a 13-year-old girl as they rape her from every angle. Okay, I don't think you could possibly understand the levels of brutality that was seen. It is women getting their tongues nailed down to wooden boards while they get branded M for Mohammed as they get raped over the course of years. Right? I don't think you understand the level of depravity we're witnessing. So when you see a leftoid doing this is a woke Jewish lady for sure, by the way. All right, listen, I'm allowed to be a little anti-Semitic over here, but again, you have to understand what we're dealing with. Mrs. Libtard, believe all victims over here, giggling as her response to 250,000 girls getting raped.
And I'm gonna try not to laugh because it feels mean.
How do you fucking say this?
What the fuck?
I haven't read the whole thing. It's 219 pages. It's only just come out a couple of hours ago. They also haven't done their research either. Because on page 11, for example, we find the following. In each of these areas, the same tactics were trafficked across county lines. County county lines are phone lines, and you don't even have to do a lot of digging to find that out, right? Literally, all you have to do is Google what is a county line, and it will tell you.
Yeah, so 250,000 girls were raped by Pakistani Muslims, but actually they weren't trafficked to Pakistan, so it's not so bad.
That county lines are the way that urban drug dealers get their drugs out into more rural areas.
All right, I'm back.
Lines that people can call, those are county lines. So you cannot traffic somebody over a county line unless you're trafficking them over a phone line.
Well, they're talking about being trafficked from like one area to another area, right? That's obviously what's being discussed.
You have a problem with the term? They're literally taking girls and shipping them around the country. Some of them actually were shipped out of the country.
That's what's being said.
Which I guess is technically possible if you're also selling them on a phone line or via that phone. So if they haven't understood the basics of how the drug network works in this country, then they have absolutely no hope of understanding grooming gangs, because grooming gangs are criminal cartel enterprises. That is the
cartels.
Grooming gang, right? It's a criminal gang. None of that, I'm going to assume from that line in the rape gang inquiry report, has made it into the rape gang inquiry report.
Damn it!
If it had,
they didn't even read it!
They would know that county lines are phone lines and not county demarcation lines, and therefore you don't get trafficked across them. I'm going to leave this video here because I will start banging my head against the desk. But I hope this gives you some idea of how little research these guys have done. They've also put a whole load of stuff in there about the Muslims and how awful the Muslims are.
You know, it's because Muslims are raping 250,000 British girls. That probably is what signified it, yeah.
Really, really vague terms. Everywhere that there are Muslims, you get these problems. Well,
Yeah, that happens everywhere, actually. It's not even remotely controversial to say. Oh, it's controversial because people are retarded and don't like truth. But it's true. It's literally true.
There are 2 billion Muslims on the planet.
Yeah, and thank God most of them are not here. Thank God most of them are in whatever the fuck retard world they're in. Listen, man. What do you want me to say?
I don't think it's literally everywhere. But anyway, that's a story for another
I'm
day.
gonna put those in there too.
The United Arab Emirates has placed a ban on Muslims going from England to the UAE because they say that the Muslims that are in England are too radical. Are you retarded?
Well, yeah, you're right. It's because in the Muslim countries they'd just be killed.
That's right. Because under Sharia law, you sleep with a woman that you're not married to, you get 100 lashes in public. All right, and that could kill you. All right, that could actually kill you. 100 lashes is not a joke. And you know, that happens to your friend, and you will not rape anyone anymore, actually. Sharia law is draconian because it is developed to enforce laws on savages. So yeah, you're right. I think that the Muslim issue in the UK is worse than in like the United Arab Emirates, for example.
Reason why. That's why they come to Britain to rape people. It's because if they did in Pakistan, they'd be given the death penalty. I don't even know. This is shit you're smugly and glibly debunking by nitpicking semantics, fucking evil freak. Exactly. People have no idea how bad the report is. To give you an idea of scale, during the rape of Nanking, Japanese soldiers were estimated to have raped 20 to 80,000 Chinese women. The report estimates at least 250,000 women were victimized by these Muslim rape gangs. When Fiona's mother called the police to report her daughter missing and mentioned a history of abuse by Asian men, the call handler told her, "You can't describe them as Asian men because that's racist. You should just be glad your is being taught into a different culture." On one occasion, a police officer returned Fiona to the house where the abuse was occurring, and they told the men to have fun with her. Even the UK doesn't cover this with the mainstream media. It's a hard read, unfathomable. I think you read this, you actually read what's being allowed to happen to avoid bad optics. I'm disgusted in this country. It'll be interesting watching people put more effort into debunking this video than actually solving the problem. Absolutely horrific.
That's what you see everywhere. By the way, Piers Morgan said the same thing. Piers Morgan said the same exact thing. Actual monkeys in suits, these people. It's insane. Many thousands of young girls raped. Doesn't mention the fact that there were Muslim grooming gangs, obviously. But the 250,000 is invented because of a different independent report said it's not true, actually.
Perpetrators and their families who stood by them need deporting. Even Reddit, dude. Even Reddit.
This breach is a big one, but not on the mainstream media. They're still covering it up. Oh, I don't want to laugh because it'll come off as mean. 250,000 white girls get raped by Muslims. These are monsters, demons. Demons that have learned human speech, but yet never properly used.
Well, the tiny mountainous
You know what?
country of Switzerland has been in
I
a
wanna-
state of perpetual neutrality since the major European powers of the time declared it so during the Congress of Vienna after the end of the Napoleonic Wars in 18...
Now, Jake Monroe, friend of mine, he just made a video talking about Chloe's story. Chloe is someone who was mentioned in the rape gang inquiry that was just released in England, and this should radicalize the heck out of you. I heard like the Cliffs Notes, but we're about to get into the weeds of it.
This is probably going to be the toughest part of this, okay? So embrace yourself. There are thousands of survivors who
Oh God, I don't know, man. I don't
could
know.
have provided evidence to our
I just feel like I need to radicalize as many people as I can before I get killed by one of these fuckers.
inquiry team. Below is a summary of some of the testimony provided by our brave witnesses who spoke to the inquiry hearings. Some of the witnesses have to remain anonymous for their own safety. Begins with Chloe. Throughout her early childhood, Chloe, which I'm assuming is a pseudonym, was popular at school, performed well academically, and enjoyed an active social life. Although her parents separated when she was young, she describes her early upbringing as relatively stable. Following the separation, full custody of Chloe and her older brother was awarded to their father, despite his alcoholism. That's a rare occurrence.
That's weird.
Her mother, on the other hand, was often absent from her life and became homeless following the separation. It was most likely because this woman was most likely suffering with mental health problems by the sounds of it. Chloe recalls a generally secure and supportive home environment under the care of her father. However, following his sudden death just before her 10th birthday, Jesus Christ, as if that wasn't enough tragedy for a 10-year-old, she moved in with her mother and her mother's new husband, a man she described as a pedophile by whom she was sexually abused. Chloe's mother caught her husband assaulting Chloe on many occasions, but did little to stop it. This is women. On one occasion, Chloe's mother caught her husband in the shower with Chloe, and instead of intervening, she closed the door and walked out. At this time, Chloe...
Worst mother of all time. Yeah, no, but this should radicalize the fuck out of you. Libtard woman gets divorced from, you know, decent, probably guy, ends up deciding to be empathetic to a retard, marries the retard, and then the retard rapes your daughter.
Chloe was 10 years old. The abuse soon escalated to rape. Chloe's stepfather supplied her with alcohol and cigarettes to keep her quiet. She began smoking cannabis. Around the same time, Chloe started truanting and spending time in the local town center with a friend and supervised. She describes groups of Muslim men, primarily Pakistanis, aged 20 to over 50, showing them attention, including wolf whistling and buying them alcohol. Many were taxi drivers who would take the girls into their cars and drive them
I'm
around
gonna have to
town.
look at those
That's
later.
weird, because Tucker Carlson said he loved that there were Pakistani taxi drivers.
There was no sexual abuse, and although men's behavior was clearly inappropriate, Chloe and her friend in the final year of primary school enjoyed being treated like adults. Grooming is. Grooming soon with provisions of alcohol and takeaways by relation with men, many of whom were related to one another, presenting themselves as sympathetic friends to Chloe. Chloe's process is them mapping out, are you vulnerable or are you a vulnerable person? Physical contact, including kissing and massages. Kissing and massages became increasingly common and increasingly harder to read. Meanwhile, abused by her stepfather worsened, and her mother was all but absent as a guardian. Fuck me. At this time, Chloe had an aunt and uncle who lived nearby. She often sought refuge with them. She had spent holidays with them during her earlier childhood and felt that she could trust them. On one occasion, she visited them while truanting before returning home and spending the day there while her mother and stepfather were at work. To Chloe's surprise, her uncle arrived at her house unannounced an hour later, and she invited him inside. After a brief conversation, Chloe's uncle sexually assaulted her. Chloe resisted, and he relented and left. She told her mother about the assault, and her mother reported it to the police. The police accused Chloe of lying. Me? And no further action was taken until this incident.
I love how it's like believe all women. Believe all women. The rapist is a Pakistani Muslim. Isn't that weird? Isn't it weird how that happened? Oh man, I think that's pretty weird.
I regarded her uncle as one of the best people in her life. Afterwards, there were no adults left.
Listen, man. It gets worse, but you have to understand this is basic sentiment on the left. Right? This clip it's an all-timer. I don't know if I've ever shown this to you, but I've seen this clip years ago. And this is Vosh, very popular, like leftist streamer guy, pro-immigration, pro-communism, which basically means rape our country. Anyone that's pro-welfare state, pro-immigration, just wants rape to happen. That's their goal, probably. They probably love it, actually, in my opinion. This is Vosh listening to a story that I think everyone needs to know, okay? Everyone needs to understand the retarded mind of a leftist. Before getting too deep into the chaos, free cash was promised to me 3,000 years ago. One thing I recently added to my daily routine is using free cash for a few minutes here and there. If I'm gonna play games as a time sponge, I might as well make some money out of it. Free cash is a fun and easy way to earn real money by doing simple tasks while already on your phone. Play games, complete surveys, do simple tasks, and turn your bathroom break into an investment. I've been enjoying playing Call to Dragons on free cash, a high payout strategy-based building game. You get instant payouts with a really easy process through PayPal, Amazon, or Visa. There's already over $250 million paid out to over 60 million users worldwide. It's a win-win. They get someone to test out their games and fill out their surveys, and you get paid. use the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to sign up and get a $10 bonus today. Now, back to the chaos. Every individual sign up literally supports the channel, so if you could click the link in the description and do the thing, that would be very appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny because I'm over here.
Because, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna... Here, wait, hold on. I should probably move my webcam down because I'm, like, blocking their faces. I've been doing it the whole video. I just want to say, do you think it maybe speaks a little bit to the fact that we have a rape culture when we put 6 people in a room together to talk about Me Too, and when they're like, hey, who of you have experienced sexual assault, and the 4 women sit down, and they've all been raped, and they all can barely choke out a coherent sentence.
All men bad, rape culture bad, all men bad.
Like, do we think this perhaps maybe slightly speaks to the fact that there's a problem? Like, Me Too has gone too far. False allegations are ruining people's lives. Okay, who among you have experienced sexual assault? And like every woman in the room starts crying. Like, almost every female friend I have has been the recipient of sexual assault or violence or rape or whatever at some point in their lives. Seriously, it's such a common thing. I think 1 in 4 is probably understating it significantly. I wouldn't be surprised if the rate for sexual assault on women over one's lifetime was as high as 1 in 3 or 1 in 2. We just don't know because nobody fucking reports. Because reports aren't taken seriously. That's what Me Too is about.
Gigantic crash out, men are all rapists, our culture is bad.
Here, like, I don't think things are on the same level, but things impact you in, like, bizarre ways. But yeah, like, because the perpetrator wasn't white, and because he was, like, part of, like, a certain religion.
Wait, are we being real?
And the police basically just said we can't because of cultural differences, which I don't feel like is such a good...
What? Bullshit! Are you fucking kidding me? Did she turn her fucking rape confession onto how the refugees, fucking Ahmed Muhammad, raped her and the police were like, oh, we can't persecute brown people? Bullshit! Bullshit!
I love this clip so much. It's perfect for all the reasons. Literally all the reasons.
Biden or seek support from. Increasingly isolated, she became more deeply involved with the groups of Muslim men she encountered in the town center. One evening, Chloe's friend suggested that they travel to a nearby town where one of the men had a hotel room. They were picked up by the man who was drunk and under the influence of drugs and taken to the hotel. When they arrived, hotel staff saw them, but they did not intervene. In the room, the girls were given a potent strain of cannabis, which left Chloe and 11 absolutely smashed. Chloe's friend was taken into another room by a group of men, and Chloe was groped by the man who remained. Chloe resisted, and he hit her. The man did not attempt to sexually assault her again. Instead, threw the girls, both of whom were still intoxicated, out of the hotel and refused to drive them back to their hometown. They were forced to walk. It was around midnight. Chloe did not want to go back to her home as she feared her mother would beat her for being out late, so stayed with her friend. In the early hours of the morning, Chloe was collected from her friend's house by the police after her mother reported her missing. Chloe lied to the police and her mother about where she had been. Chloe's mother grounded her for a month, meaning she was stuck at home with her predatory stepfather, a period she describes as torture. After the month passed, Chloe arranged to see her friend, who boasted that she had a new boyfriend. Chloe left the house to meet her, and the girls were picked up by the boyfriend, who was in fact a 25-year-old Indian man. Chloe initially thought the man was nice, posher than the other men she had met in the town center. He took Chloe and her friend to a shop where he...
This is like a 13, 11, 25-year-old Indian boyfriend. Just understand what we're dealing with.
Purchased a bottle of vodka before picking up one of his friends and taking the girls to a secluded location. During the journey, the men began pressuring the girls for sex. Chloe refused, stating that she was on her period. The men replied that it did not matter. Night was falling when they arrived. The boyfriend took Chloe's friend out of the car, leaving Chloe alone with the other man, who proceeded to rape her on the back seat. This incident took place in 2003. In 2022, Chloe took the 2 men to court, but neither were found guilty. At this moment, Chloe's life spiraled. At 12 years old, she began drinking heavily, smoking large amounts of cannabis, and taking harder drugs, including ecstasy. Really that hard, to be honest with you. Anything to block it out of her mind. She would drink before get through the day, and none of the teachers noticed a drunk student. She and her friend would spend school hours in the town center walking around until somebody picked them up in a car, somebody bought them alcohol, and somebody gave them drugs. There were times when Chloe would be missing for up to 3 days, during which time she was passed between taxis, drugged, abused, and raped. In every case, the perpetrators were Muslims and primarily Pakistani. On one occasion, Chloe was abducted by an abuser.
There were some that were Indian Muslims, though, so listen, there's diversity there.
Who was driving drunk and taken to a graveyard. He gave Chloe, 12 years old, whiskey before forcing himself on her and raping her. He withdrew before ejaculation and forced the empty whiskey bottle into Chloe's vagina, where it shattered. Chloe admitted herself to A&E, but no questions were asked about how she had sustained such an injury. She was
like the doctor saw, it's like, that's a refugee. That's a Muslim situation going on. We're not gonna get involved. Daniel's bottle shattered in your vagina. They didn't feel like asking the 12-year-old girl.
I'm waiting until morning.
Impertinent question. You have to understand the evil that's being done to us.
Was examined, glass was removed, and she was discharged. Chloe was questioned by police due to her absence on a number of occasions. Each time, she was asked where she had been, who she had been with, and what she had been doing. She replied she had been having sex with adult males in cars. Rather than opening an investigation pursuing her abusers, the police dismissed Chloe as a prostitute at 12 years old. She was 12 years old at this time, and the police had literally just dismissed her as being nothing but a prostitute. They asked her whether she was consenting to the sexual activity, and despite Chloe telling them that she did not know the definition of the word consent, they reported that she had not, that she had been consenting, and that she was a 12-year-old prostitute. The police said this. The police said this. The police found Chloe as well as other missing children in cars.
Do you understand the evil being done to us? I feel like people just don't get it. People just don't get it. 250,000 girls, children raped by, 87 to 95% by Muslims, all right, let's make believe there's no issue, literally covered up by the government. Not just like the government isn't making a big deal about it. Individual cases, individually squashed by different people in the government and police departments because they were afraid of being called racist. Do you even understand what's happening, the scale here?
As with the gang members on multiple occasions, but let the gang members go on without so much as questioning them. On one occasion, Chloe was in the town center and was identified as a missing child by a police officer. Yeah, so you're identified as a missing child if you are a minor and you go missing for a certain period of time. However, you can also become a legal prostitute, apparently, and the legal age of consent in the UK is 16, not 12. Chloe was in the town center and was identified as a missing child by a police officer who questioned where she had been. Chloe told this police officer about the full extent of the abuse, and the response of the police officer was that nothing could be done, and Chloe was let go. In response to her truancy and deteriorating behavior, the school regularly placed Chloe in isolation and compelled her to attend additional after-school classes every day. This did little to improve her emotional state, and she continued to spend time with her friend and her friend's boyfriend. This went on for a number of years. The boyfriend would simply supply the girls with alcohol and drugs, as well as introducing them to his friends, who were exclusively South Asian men. On one occasion, he took the girls to his place of work, a textiles factory where he raped them. Following this incident, Chloe stopped spending time with the friend who, up until this point, had accompanied her throughout her exploitation. By this time, Chloe had become so accustomed to her lifestyle of spending time with the Muslim gangs that she continued to do so without her friend.
This is called grooming. That's why they're called grooming gangs. I see a lot of people say don't call them grooming gangs, call them rape gangs. I think grooming gangs are like worse almost. All right, because here you got a dozen adult men raping children to the point that they're so broken that they think it's normal. And then they get raped over a period of years. Right? People do not understand what's happening. And no mainstream media is reporting it.
And on one occasion, following another late return home, her mother grounded her for 2 months, fearing further abuse.
The rivers of blood flowing on the altar of diversity. People are not nearly angry enough.
Stepfather Chloe walked to a nearby social services office while her mother was at work and reported the Chloe was interviewed by the social workers about the abuse, after which her mother and stepfather were arrested and questioned. Both denied that the abuse was taking place and were released without charges. So you can very much just go into a police station, lie, they believe it, and you leave. I can't believe this. It seems like the police know that there's a sex pest gang comprised of Indian men operating in this town, and they don't want to touch it. In fact, they've probably been instructed not to touch it. These two, this rapist and the enabler, her mom and stepfather, were brought in for questioning. They lied. And the police went, oh, okay. They didn't want to investigate or pursue. Chloe made further appeals to social services. By the way, as someone who's actually been involved with social services recently, they are useless. Chloe made further appeals to social services and was eventually removed from the house and placed in foster care. She lived with a couple who cared for several other foster children, and she found them snobby and judgmental, found some semblance of stability with them, but it did not last long. She was still living in the same town, so when she went into town center, as she often did, both alone and with the foster carers, the Muslim gangs would recognize and target her. She remained at the same school, and because she now lived further away, the foster carers paid for taxis to take her there. She would ask the taxi drivers to drop her near the school, and rather than attending, would walk to one of the neighborhoods where Muslim gangs spent their time. The gangs would take her into their taxis, ply her with drugs and alcohol, and sexually abuse her. This was all at the age of 12. She's now 13 here. Chloe disclosed to social services that she was being sexually abused by gangs of Muslim men.
And you got these, then they ask the imams in the mosques, and they're like, well, the woman was not wearing a burqa, so how could you even stop him from raping a 10-year-old? It's her fault. She wasn't even dressed modestly. We have to understand where the fault for this really lies. Obviously. And the real shocker is, like, where are all the good Muslims that are coming out here to condemn the 50,000 girls getting raped by Pakistani Muslim gangs? Like, where are all the good Muslims calling out the bad Muslims? That's what I want to know, guys. That's a question for you to respond to in the comment section below. Where are all the good Muslims calling out the bad Muslims?
In response, social services did not intervene. Yep, I believe that. Rather spoke to Chloe about contraception and sexual health. A 13-year-old. At least when you're being raped by these men, sweetie, make sure you wrap it up. In response, they did not intervene, but rather, acknowledging that she was being raped, advised her to use contraception and to be mindful of things like sexual health. One social worker started regularly taking Chloe to a sexual health clinic where she was diagnosed with chlamydia in her throat and vagina, gonorrhea, genital warts, and pelvic inflammatory disease. Neither the social workers nor the clinic staff questioned or
Filled out the Pokedex on SPD.
reported this. Police were aware of Chloe's activities. Chicago was responsible for her abuse.
Years old, like, how? Freaking out here. How is this possible?
Routinely failed to question, let alone pursue further action. When Chloe was found in cars and houses,
I feel like I should have more than 5 hides, man. Considering I only killed 5 boar, I guess. So.
And the carer fought them in the street to protect her. Around the time Chloe turned 14, a social worker approached her about her ongoing sexual exploitation. This was one of the first times this had happened. Chloe was relieved that her abuse was finally being addressed. However, rather than offering a solution, the social worker instead told Chloe that the producers of Emmerdale were looking for a young actress to play the victim of a child sexual exploitation and asked whether she would be interested in auditioning for the role given her experience. Are you serious? I can't believe this to be real. I want you to imagine, I want you to truly
understand that there are 200 plus pages in this report.
Grasp how unbelievably sad it is that a girl lost her father. He died. He took good care of her, and he died. That's already tragic enough. Your immediate next experience of life at the age of 10 is to be raped by your mom's new boyfriend or new husband. She's 10 years old. She's meant to be playing outside with her friends, going to the park, developing a little bit of independence, being guided to early adulthood, young adulthood. She's meant to be assured every step of the way when her body starts to change. She's meant to be going on family vacations where she hangs out with her cousins, brothers and sisters, Saturday morning cartoons, cereal, that kind of thing. And all she's ever known is rape and betrayal, substance abuse, and constant, unending failure of every single adult in her life. The most impressionable, most vulnerable moment in a girl's life, in a kid's life, is when you transition from being a child into being a teenager. It's an incredibly volatile time in everyone's lives, where support is meant to be the primary thing, where love and understanding is meant to be the thing that's there for you to help guide you. Instead, everyone's just raping her. Following this exchange, Chloe, upset and angry,
and understand, this is one of 250,000. Okay.
In a state of disbelief, as you would be, ran away from the foster home, and after being abducted by a Muslim gang, was missing for 6 months. Over this period, she was trafficked across the length and breadth of Britain. She was taken to house, raped and abused by guy after guy. The man who abused her paid money to the gang, which treated her as little more than a commodity. She was reported missing, and a photograph was shown on TV. Her abusers remarked on this: "You're that girl on TV that's missing." But her whereabouts were never reported to the police. Chloe describes the cycle of grooming, rape, and drug and alcohol abuse. This went on until eventually she was located by the police. When the police found her, she was in a car with a South Asian Muslim man. That man was let go without charge. She was returned to her mother's house. Chloe's relationship.
Fucking shit. She's missing for 6 months. They're playing her. They're trying to find her to the point that they're literally broadcasting her face on the TV. They find her with an adult Muslim guy, and they don't charge him. Dude. This isn't failure. This is purposeful. Right? This is intentional, malicious evil. You know, like, every once in a while, someone's like, "Oh yeah, the reason why the leftist policies cause all these people getting raped is because they're actually worshiping some sort of demonic entity using dark sexual energy for their ritual." I'm like, yeah, okay, dude, all right. But you know, you start reading these stories, and it's like, I don't know, man. For some reason, all these like pedophile billionaires are doing weird occult shit, and it's like, I don't know. Maybe this is actually just an actually intended consequence of mass migration. No, I mean, mass migration, obviously, it promotes communism, because these people fucking suck, for the most part. So it promotes communism, it destroys the culture, it's anti-God in every possible way. It gives you power, because now you have gigantic Muslim voting blocks that are, obviously they're going to vote for the guy that turns a blind eye to the Muslim grooming gangs. The Muslim groomers are not going to actually fucking vote for the guy that wants to execute them. So in order to maintain power and maintain votes, and ruin the life of anyone that exposes them, calling them a rapist and a murderer, and you just start slandering them as racist neo-Nazis and putting them in jail for exposing this, like Tommy Robinson, who was arrested like 5 times for exposing this shit. And the crazy thing is, since so many people understand that the future is Islam, because some of these leftists are having children, they're aborting their babies, right? The Muslims are having 7 children each, so you want to import them to vote for you forever, right? They understand that that's the future. You have to appease these guys. That's why it's believe all women, unless it's Christians getting raped by Muslims on a massive fucking scale throughout all of the West. Right? It's believe all victims, unless it's Jews getting raped by Hamas. It's believe all victims until the Yazidis are being taken as sex slaves by ISIS. The UN for women is constantly talking about women's rights in America, while the UN is comprised of, a quarter of the UN is Islamic countries where they're sex trafficking children. They recently put Iran in charge of the UN for women. Iran, the Islamic Republic that executes women for not wearing hijab in public and rapes them before their execution so they don't go to heaven as a virgin. Those are the guys in charge of UN women. You have to understand the corruption on a global scale.
Relationship with her mother had completely broken down by this point, so she continued to run away, and her psychological state deteriorated further. Following another period of grooming and sexual exploitation by a Muslim gang, Chloe was taken into police custody and transported to a secure unit at Children's Home. She describes the home as being like a prison. Every aspect of her life was controlled and surveilled, and she was routinely subjected to bodily examinations, including full cavity searches. Chloe found the experience highly traumatic. She remained there for 9 months, by which time she was almost 15. Social services determined that she was well enough to be released, and she was placed in foster care not far from where she had been living before. Chloe describes the new carers as a positive and empowering presence in her life, but in spite of their proximity to the site of her abuse and exploitation, Chloe found stability and security living with them. She enrolled in a full-time hairdressing and beauty course at a nearby college. The next 2 years, Chloe describes her life as fantastic. As Chloe approached her 18th birthday, social services notified her that the foster care would soon end. They identified a house for her, and after parting ways with her carer, she moved in.
The fact that you have the fact that the government pays for housing of illegal migrant rapists, but doesn't pay for like this abuse victim, this person who went through fucking hell. It's mind-boggling. It really is. This is like the leftist tolerance.
And then got a retail job to support herself. Despite having little experience taking care of herself, Chloe's life remained generally stable for the period. Eventually, Chloe re-established contact with the friend whom she had been abused with as a young child. She invited her over to her house. She arrived. She was accompanied by a group of Muslim men, all of whom remembered Chloe from past. Immediately, Chloe's life was thrown back into chaos. The men refused to leave, and in Chloe's words, it was no longer my quiet little house. It was their house. They smashed windows, kicked in doors, left the house an absolute wreck, and sexually.
They will take your oak door and use it as firewood. Your world means nothing to them. It's so mind-boggling that it's so obvious that the people that come from bumfuck nowhere, where they sexually abuse children and women all the time, are going to sexually abuse children and women when they come to your homeland.
Abused Chloe. One of the men, a previous abuser, pinned her down, pulled her trousers down, and sat on her face, orally raping her on her own sofa as the rest of the gang watched. Chloe returned to drugs and alcohol to cope, where she was still working in retail. Her ability to work was rapidly declining. During one shift, one of her colleagues, someone she was friends with, jokingly pinched her bottom. Chloe, traumatized by the years of abuse, punched him in the face and left the shop. She was brought before management, tried to argue her case, but was fired. Left with no income, Chloe spiraled further because the gang was still occupying her house, and with nowhere else to go and no ability to stay with them. They routinely drugged, used, and raped her, including with objects, including soft drink cans, keys, and a baseball bat. Before long, they started to pay her bills to consolidate their presence.
This is savagery! Savagery beyond our imagination.
Home. On a number of occasions, they brought young children. Chloe recalls a number of occasions when boys under the age of 18 from Muslim communities, from the Muslim community, were pressured and bullied by their older friends and relatives into raping her. Chloe was forced to commit crimes, including insurance fraud and the holding of drugs. On one occasion, she contacted the police to report an assault that was taking place in her house, and when they arrived, Chloe was threatened with arrest rather than gang members, as the property was registered in her name. One evening, an associate of the gang from a neighboring town arrived at the house, a notorious sex trafficker. He soon began taking Chloe to bars and nightclubs in the surrounding area. There, he would spike her with heroin before handing her over to men who sexually assaulted and raped her. Chloe became addicted to opiates, as you would if you were exposed to heroin, and her health deteriorated rapidly. She became anorexic, weighing just 5 stone at the age of 18. hell. The use of heroin was a method of control by the gang as it left her with no ability to defend herself physically. Her daily existence became a relentless cycle of rape, exploitation, and violence. Eventually, a social worker visited Chloe and was shocked by both her appearance and the conditions in which she was living. Concerned for her welfare, she took Chloe to an addiction clinic where tests revealed an extremely high concentration of opiates in her system. Chloe was prescribed medication to manage her opioid dependency and gradually weaned herself off the drugs. Around this time, Chloe reconnected with a childhood friend, and their friendship soon developed into a romantic relationship. Her boyfriend became aware of the ongoing abuse and with the help of his father paid off Chloe's remaining rent and moved her out of her squalid house. Chloe moved in with him, after which she got another job in retail. For a short period, Chloe's life was relatively stable, but due to her unresolved trauma, she soon returned to drinking heavily, smoking cannabis, and gambling. Her workplace was close to her first foster home, and before long she came back into contact with members of the gang that had abused her at that time. The cycle of grooming, exploitation, and abuse soon resumed. Her relationship with her boyfriend broke down, and out of desperation she re-established contact with her mother, who had left her predatory husband, and soon moved back in with her. One night, Chloe was out with members of the gang and drinking heavily. Upon her return to her mother's house, her mother reported her to the police. The police arrested Chloe while she was changing into her pajamas. She was taken to the police station drunk and half naked. She was kept in a cell until 2 a.m. the following morning, at which point she was released. They did not provide her with any clothes or transportation back to her mother's house. She tried to contact her ex-boyfriend, but he did not respond. Chloe, then 19, was left stranded. She wandered around the neighborhood for several hours before encountering, you guessed it, a gang member who had previously abused her. Cold and desperate, she got into his car, and for the following weeks was trafficked across the country. Eventually, Chloe identified a new house to move into. Despite their dysfunctional relationship, her mother agreed to sign the rental agreement as Chloe's guarantor, as Chloe, then without income, knew she would not be able to afford the rent. After she moved in, she became aware of the fact that she was the only white British person in her neighborhood. Every other resident was South Asian. As a result, the gang
That's called colonialism, by the way.
discovered where she was living and once again treated her house as if it was their own. The cycle of abuse continued, and Chloe's emotional state deteriorated significantly. Chloe was taken to hospital after a suicide attempt, and while there, she discovered that she was pregnant. The father of the child, a Pakistani Muslim,
They care about mental health, right?
Muslim illegal migrant, moved into Chloe's home. Chloe was subsequently coerced into converting to Islam.
All right,
and forced into
let's go get a ship.
Fucking God, it gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse.
The smallest details matter most.
That's what they call
Come here, old man.
Captain.
Dude, this is a decade of her life.
All right, how'd you get here, Doc? After the boarding, the pirates dragged me to their camp to stitch wounds and treat hangovers. Fortunately, I managed to commandeer a boat and escape. Luckily, I ran into you. Sticking together gives us a fighting chance. Please let me stay in your camp.
All protected by the police.
Alright, mate, make yourself comfortable. I've got a few questions. Gladly, I'll tell you everything I can. How did you manage to escape? Blah, 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 blah. Here, I need this one. Any ideas on how to get out of here? Not far from here, I saw a few ships run aground. Some of them still look salvageable. Even so, managing the repairs with just 2 of us will be a tall task. Miracles do indeed happen, but without a cup of coffee, I'm hardly capable of them. The pirates took many prisoners, not just me. We must free them. They can help repair a ship and return us to civilization. Alright, so I could call a boat now, huh?
Chloe warned her friend about what she suspected was going to happen, but her friend refused to leave. Chloe
let me go to J.
The following day, Chloe's friend told Chloe she'd been raped by the man. This incident represented a turning point in Chloe's life. She decided that she needed to leave her hometown for good and get as far away from these Asian men as possible. By chance, she reconnected on Facebook with a man she had known in her early childhood, an old colleague of her mother who she described as one of the only adult men in my life who never harmed me or treated me badly. She told him about everything she had been through and her desire to leave. He lived in Scotland. She was invited to visit him over the weekend.
Good. I can
After returning home, she sought support from Women's Aid.
actually see the island from here.
Her daughter and a small bag, she left her hometown, leaving a lifetime of abuse and exploitation behind. To Scotland, where she resides to this day. Chloe personally knows at least 20 other girls from her area who were predated on by the Muslim gangs who abused her. The pattern was always the same.
Crap, before I go.
Trafficking, abuse. Furthermore, Chloe described being taken into mosques where imams would describe non-Muslims as infidels and preach that white women who dressed inappropriately were free game.
It's so weird how they all seem to say the same thing. It's almost like it's part of the religion or something.
It's every mosque, not just the one she went to. That's
I'm
all.
not saying that. I'm just proposing that it's such a funny coincidence that all of them seem to believe exactly the same thing.
This is what they think of you. Chloe believes that the local police, social services, NHS, and government were all fully aware of what was happening, including the racialized nature of the crimes, but
they know that entire neighborhoods are just sacrificed on the altar of diversity.
They did not intervene for two reasons: because they could not be bothered with paperwork, and because they did not want to be seen as racist. Chloe blames these bodies and their major push for diversity for her abuse. Chloe says that if I can save just even one child, girl or boy, from going through any of this, then I've done my job. Inquiry panelist, do you know how many men abused you over that period if you had to guess? Chloe, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Now tomorrow we're going to cover Fiona. I know tomorrow's my day.
Holy shit, dude. Can you just even imagine this? It's actually just mind-breaking. Like, we need public executions big time. Remigration is the moderate solution. Can you imagine 200 plus pages of stories exactly like this?
They are, but this is important. I don't know about you guys, but that was incredibly tough. It was very, very tough to get through. This diversity that Keir Starmer keeps talking about, it's worth all this. His votes. Sadiq Khan's votes.
Piers Morgan, was it worth it? Hey Piers Morgan, was it worth it? Was it worth it? Oh, but it wasn't full. Maybe it wasn't 250,000. You're questioning the numbers. The numbers bother you. Is that? Was it worth it though? Maybe. I don't know. You got good food now. There's good food now. There are a lot of white English people that Piers Morgan would happily trade for a good weekly chicken tikka masala. Is it worth it? Is it worth it, Mr. Morgan? Was Chloe worth it? All this fucking blathering about empathy. Fuck you people. There is no justice without God. God believes in law and order. God believes in borders. God believes in being intolerant to demonic cultures. You think you're more moral than God.
Back to the counterfeit corpses, this only added insult to injury. These corpses were often freshly deceased from disease, embalmed and made up to resemble a real dusty-busty corpse. So instead of snapping into an ancient Egyptian Slim Jim, people might have been munching on a malarial amalgamation of Monty the Mischievous Mooner.
What is this craziness?
Taiwan independent?
My opinion on Taiwan is that Taiwan is the Chinese concept of Taiwan.
I want that.
Is that a Bible? Okay. Some may say more important than the Bible. Some may. Especially over here. Yep.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
Allow me to introduce you all to a man by the name of Boris Yeltsin, who is most famous not only for being the first president of the Russian Federation, but also one of the greatest.
Oh, I thought my boat was sinking for a second. It's just going under the waves.
Yeltsin was a member of the Communist Party from 1961 to 1990, but only came into prominence while the Soviet Union was making reforms under the then leader Gorbachev during the 1980s. Gorbachev is primarily known for his reforms, such as replacing the strict state-controlled economy with some limited market entry, as well as social policies which reduce state censorship and political repression. Gone were the days of Stalin in which people were sent to the gulags to engage in forced labor while wearing shock collars.
America, Kaya, please just fucking go. Just stop.
Is this joke overused? Absolutely. Am I still going to keep using it? Absolutely.
America, Kaya, please just fucking go. Just stop.
Gorbachev referred to these policies as socialism with a human face. And that face does not look like this.
Oh, shit. La, 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 wait till I get my money right.
Gorbachev sought not to dismantle communism, but to reform it, both economically and socially. These social reforms included greater access to information. People outside of the Eastern Bloc could marvel at the packages of diarrhea-inducing slop. These empty shells had no caviar, truffles, or Kobe beef to fuel Hassan's working-class muscles so he could fight against the evil billionaires through the power of Dolce & Gabbana accessories. Reforms also allowed Eastern Europe to gain greater access to information about Western Europe and the United States. The lessening of social repression allowed for more outspoken oppositional forces. The leader of the opposition was, you guessed it, Boris Yeltsin, who called for more immediate and drastic reforms. As a result of this, Yeltsin was invited to visit the United States. During his time, he got to visit New York City, meet President George H.W. Bush, and even visit the Johnson Space Center in Houston. But the highlight of his trip was not sightseeing America's greatest city, nor meeting the president, nor visiting a space station. And to my knowledge, he did not try any of the space station's fake astronaut ice cream either. It involved looking at ordinary Earthling ice cream and popsicles in a Texan grocery store called Randall's. Yeltsin was awestruck by the ice cream. Imagine being riveted by Bill Cosby's non-Quaalude laced pudding pops.
You're invited to a wedding in the Jell-O freezer. Let's go. Do you smooth and creamy Jell-O pudding pop take this chocolatey chocolate chip as your partner?
I do.
Chocolate chip, the newest flavor in the family of creamy Jell-O pudding pops. I now pronounce you Mr. and Mrs. Chocolate Chip Jell-O pudding pops. Aren't they delicious? And now for the reception. Good things pop up in the Jell-O freezer.
Yeltsin stated, "When I saw those shelves crammed with hundreds of thousands of cans, cartons, and goods of every possible sort, for the first time, I felt, quite frankly, sick with despair for the Soviet people. That such a potentially super-rich country as ours
There's the
has
boat.
been
Cool.
brought to a state of such poverty. It is terrible to think of it. Well, don't feel bad, Boris. This Soviet slop is at least better than capitalist Taco Bell." Less than 2 months later, the Berlin Wall fell, and Yeltsin, the foremost supporter for intensifying reforms, would be elected president of the Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic was quite a mouthful. In 1991, the Soviet Union would then collapse. The reforms which were made led not to a stronger system, but rather to the collapse of the entire system, as the USSR broke apart into various new states, namely Russia, along with Ukraine, Georgia, and most importantly, Kazakhstan. That's right. These packages of frozen treats sort of kind of caused the end of the Soviet Union, or in Hassan's terms,
The fall of the USSR was one of the greatest catastrophes of the 20th century.
well, Hassan Piker, vanilla ice cream has scored 1 point, and you have scored 0 points. Our bro Boris would become the first president of the Russian Federation, and dance his way into becoming the greatest Russian leader of all time. No, I'm just messing with you. Boris Yeltsin's quick transition from communism to capitalism led to a decade of stagnation, destitution, and oligarchy through what some call economic shock therapy. Don't be too hard on our bro Boris, though. As an alcoholic, he was way too shit-faced to notice that the life expectancy of the average Russian male dropped from 62.8 to 57.4 by the mid-1990s. But have no fear. In spite of all the pain and suffering, Russian citizens now had access to Pizza Hut. One advertisement even starred our other bro, Gorbachev.
Из-за него мы на краю экономической пропасти. Да благодаря ему у нас свобода. Из-за него мы на краю политического хаоса. Благодаря ему мы теперь свободны. И можем дойти до края этой пиццы.
The Edge Pizza from Pizza Hut with no outer crust, so the toppings go all the way to the edge.
Observation proceeds. Understand, have you?
Even our voice of the poor, Hassan Piker, loves Pizza Hut, so long as he dances with a slice of pizza in drag. Yeah, instead of getting diarrhea from Soviet food, they got to enjoy the constipation from all of that extra crust. In my previous video, I covered how vanilla switched from being a luxury item to being ordinary. Pizza Hut is actually another example of how a product can switch from being a relatively premium status symbol into, well, whatever the hell this is. Even in Western countries during the 80s and 90s, Pizza Hut was seen as high quality, a dining experience with a salad bar and servers.
Do you really think this is the right thing for us to be doing, Ivana?
What will people think?
Let them talk. Ivana. It's wrong, isn't it?
But it feels so right.
Then it's a deal?
Yes, we eat our pizza the wrong way.
Crust first. Introducing stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut. With a ring of cheese baked into a totally new, thinner crust, you'll want to eat it the wrong way.
The last slice.
Actually, you're only entitled to half.
Large is $9.
Today, Pizza Hut is a takeout place designed to put you into a grease coma right before it clogs your asshole. Putting clogged assholes aside, Eastern Europe would become one of the most anti-communist regions of the world, as most former communist states like Poland made gradual reforms and transitioned into capitalism and democracy in a boring, yet functional manner, while Russia's quick transition to capitalism proved to be a disaster. This story is a testament to the balancing act societies must play when it comes to markets versus equality. The two are not mutually exclusive, but rather forces which must be balanced in order to build a constructive economy and society. If you focus too much on equality, you ignore the forces of supply and demand, which in turn leads to impoverishment, and food only fit for Asmongold's pet rats and cockroaches.
There's been like a dead rat in my house for like the past like 3 days, and I can't find where he is.
But on the other hand, if you focus too much on markets while ignoring equality, you end up with a massive underclass, while a trillionaire spends most of his time shitposting memes by 14-year-olds on X.com. With the exception of net-year audios like tankies and ANCAPs, those of us who haven't ventured out of our dad's attic.
Holy crap.
Complex, morally ambiguous place of trade-offs and compromises between various stakeholders. The greatest antidote to extremist economic beliefs is getting a real job. And those of us who do not are the same sort of teenager or university student who make up the bulk of Hassan Piker's fan base. You know who did understand the benefits of pragmatism over ideology? Of combining markets and some semblance of equality? At least to some minuscule degree? China's Deng Xiaoping. Sorry for the atrocious mispronunciation. After Hassan's favorite ender of human lives, Mao, died, Deng would maneuver himself into becoming the most powerful man in China. While still being a member of the Chinese Communist Party, Deng was not a real communist, nor was he a hardcore libertarian espousing the values of guns, raw milk, and lowering the age of consent. Deng was a pragmatist, famously saying, quote, "It does not matter if a cat is black or white, so long as it catches mice." Through his policies, China switched from a Maoist state socialist policy to state communism. Rather than having government centralize control over every aspect of the economy, a policy which led to mass famine and destitution, the economy would introduce market reforms and open up to foreign investment while having these companies still be subservient to the state. At first, this openness to free trade led to mass manufacturing growth, most famously for cheaply produced toys. Every kid who grew up during the 90s and the 2000s is familiar with the Made in China label, which at best was a testament to the country's vast economic might, and at worst was a symbol of poor quality and stupid consumers sold to fat Westerners at Walmart. Look at all the stupid capitalist crap on Hassan Piker's bookshelf. A lot of that stuff was made in China. Speaking of bookshelves which don't have any books on them, China is also the world's biggest printer of books, many of which are printed the intellectual property of American and British publishers. Granted, this doesn't really matter to our revolutionary intellectual, Hassan Piker.
Did you read a lot of books when you were growing up?
I don't really read as much anymore, but I did when I was growing up.
Any books stick out in your head as memorable ones?
I don't know. I have no like immediate books that come to mind. I'm also terrible at recall in general. If you ask me about any songs, for example, I can never tell you any of the lyrics. Or if you ask me what my favorite movie is, I have a very hard time pulling it from my brain. Maybe it's because it's packed with ridiculous pieces of information.
Knowledge. Hassan, couldn't you have named the book What Is to Be Done by Vladimir Lenin? You did upload a photo of yourself apparently reading the book alongside your fabulous Cartier ring. Was it too difficult for you to read? If so, I recommend the book Communism for Kids. It's for children aged 10 to 14. But if that's beyond your reading comprehension skills, then let me recommend A is for Activists. It comes with some really cool pictures designed to appeal to some of your intellectual rigor. One item which China has produced in mass of late, which Hassan Piker has a liking to, is the infamous labubu,
The concept of knowing there's currently a Labubu on Karl Marx's grave. I think Karl Marx would have appreciated a Labubu. I think he would have really liked it. I think he would have enjoyed what a Labubu implies. I think he would have appreciated it in general. So I don't know if people are hating on that right now. Workers use the Labubu.
During the 90s and 2000s, children's toys were cheap, abundant, and fungible. These plastic dinosaurs are not too different than these other plastic dinosaurs. Hassan, buddy, I recommend that you buy some of these toy plastic dinosaurs. Just the ones that are a little bit larger than usual, as I don't want them to be a choking hazard for you. Unlike plastic toy dinosaurs, Labubus use artificial scarcity, which essentially means restricting supply to induce demand. Unlike diamonds, golden toilets, and even vanilla beans, Labubus are not underproduced due to non-human factors, namely natural scarcity. They are purposefully undersupplied in order to make sure that those which are sold are more valuable. On top of this, the boxes conceal what type of Labubu you get. You might get a super rare, cool Labubu that you can use as a status symbol to show off to other people and possibly even get laid with girls that are low IQ. Or you could just get a common, boring Labubu, which in most cases is, well, the case. As I pointed out in my last video, scarcity produces exclusivity, and exclusivity displays status. Status is inherently unequal, and thereby opposed to the ethos of communism and socialism. After all, in sharp contrast to most Chinese toys, Labubus are not cheap.
20 Labubus in 1 month! Go off! You're choosing this over your child! What do you think of 20 Labubus in a month?
How much do you spend total in Labubus?
Whoa, how much do you think she spent?
Hopefully not more than 300.
Try doubling that plus. $700. $700 to Labubu! And they're hard to get? Shut the up!
In many ways, the Labubu is emblematic of China's transition from state socialism to state capitalism. The transition has led millions of people being pushed out of poverty to the point in which the granddaughters of starving rice farmers can burn money off on an ambiguously mammalian creature toy made out of vinyl. It is also a symbol of the vacuous obsession with material status that comes along with a market-based economy, with a thin veneer of communist iconography. Kind of like the Cheik shirt. Here is a picture Hassan may or may not have taken during his propaganda trip to China. It shows a hammer and sickle, the symbols of communism, on a building with a Gucci store. This looks like some lame parody that some unfunny right-wing wannabe comedian would have made up as satire to make fun of Hassan. Yet here is the real picture of the store. I'm hoping it's AI, but it probably isn't. When asked what his preferred economic system would be like, Hassan didn't at first say China. He said Star Trek.
You'd like communism in America?
I think that communism would be most likely an international thing. It'd be like the Star Trek universe.
Star Trek is a post-scarcity society due to technology like replicators and fusion power. Last time I checked, we do not have that tech yet. Nor did the Soviet Union. The bread lines are evidence to the existence of a post-scarcity society. What's also evidence against a post-scarcity society in the Soviet Union were the 30,000 people who lined up to take part in the opening of the first McDonald's in the communist world. The least fast food in history. The only items in the Star Trek universe which are luxury items are ones of which the replicators can't produce, such as gold-pressed latinium, which I'm probably mispronouncing. Put a Dolce & Gabbana logo on it.
Alright, now we're ready to do this.
One of his fellow Marxists in arms. When asked to provide a literal, down-to-earth example of an economy he would like the United States to emulate, he stated that China is his preferred model.
They were able to come into modernity and become like a powerhouse, an industrial powerhouse that is competitive with the largest superpower on the planet. I would say if that's the point of good governance, and I think you guys might agree with me on that, I would say China is probably the closest.
Now, it's true that China has been very good at pushing many people in urban centers out of poverty, as well as building infrastructure. But many other countries in Asia have also pushed millions of people out of poverty, and have been very good at building infrastructure. The Gulf states have state-of-the-art infrastructure, and have pushed nearly all of their citizens out of poverty, yet Hassan is not fond of them. So it can't
God
just be
damn.
urban wealth, high-speed trains,
I couldn't
and
get away
moving
from him.
vending machines. Keep in mind that China is far from an egalitarian state. The massive increase in wealth under state capitalism has led to vast inequality. An article in New Lines magazine points out that while the Chinese state capitalist model brings in some impressive results, it also comes at the cost of crushing labor unions, who have little to no power compared to the state-owned enterprises. This is the complete opposite of the workplace democracy Hassan also pretends to support. He also overlooks the massive urban versus rural poverty divide in China, the ever-growing concentration of wealth in the hands of government-linked business officials, and the horrendous work-life balance. Your average Chinese worker grinding insane hours is not making millions of dollars a year watching 90 Day Fiancé in Hell's Kitchen on Twitch. One Taiwanese writer wrote, quote, "Actual Chinese people are merely shadow puppets through which to construct a grandiose fantasy that is juxtaposed with Western contexts."
I'm not asking you to be more Chinese.
I already am. I already am, chat, and you are too. This is like, chat, remember when I made you guys all say the Shahada and you all became Muslim? Okay, this is kind of like that. We're all at Tiananmen Square, and we are all becoming Chinese. From all over the country, literally travel here just to see this.
That part is insane. Look how many.
Like, I just don't, like, I'm not, I don't have any sort of patriotism in my heart. For any, yeah, for America, but just in general. I'm not like a very...
In other words, the real reason why Hassan simps for China is not because of its economy, but rather because it's the only adversary of the Western world which is not run by idiotic buffoons who believe in evil genies, turn their currency to asswipes, marry 7-year-olds, or unironically claim to have no anus. The Chinese Communist Party also rejects the European-style social safety net, which is typically called social democracy, or what many Americans view as the Nordic model in countries like Sweden and Denmark. The Chinese Communist Party rejects the European social safety net. Xi Jinping has warned against what is called welfarism, which in his eyes promotes stagnation, laziness, and dependency. Now, I am a social democrat myself, and I acknowledge the superior benefits that European countries provide their citizens. But at the same time, I must reluctantly admit that Xi Jinping isn't completely wrong about the European model either. While the US was creating ChatGPT and China was producing DeepSeek, EU bureaucrats were arguing over fucking Ethernet cables. When talking to mainstream media outlets, Hassan pretends to be a normie sockdem supporting universal health care. But when he's talking to his radicalized audience, he simps for North Korea.
Come on, dude. The PRK executed 12 young men for playing League of Legends.
When he is caught off guard, he will switch from one into the other, depending on what allows him to LARP as a revolutionary, while he still gets to keep his collection of Labubus, sports cars, Rolex watches, and anime swords.
You live in LA, right?
Careful now.
So it goes into, Beverly Hills or something, and it says, today, the city council has voted to expropriate your lavish, undeserved wealth and return your homes to the people. And that's backed up by police power, so it's violent, but it's not shooting people against the wall. But like, is that what you mean? That
This is so
people
far
in Beverly
out in the
Hills.
future.
Yep. Right.
Yeah, this is so far out in the future for even someone like myself that like I don't even see the necessity of arguing on how this would work.
Scandinavian countries and other European states are not socialist,
You know what?
let alone communist. IKEA is a Swedish corporation. This toy shark, which I mentioned in my last video, is not manufactured by the Swedish government, and neither is this bookshelf or the meatball sold at the store. Lego is a Danish company. It is not owned by the Danish government. It's a private corporation. There will never be a communist uprising by these Lego guys. Sweden also has more billionaires in proportion to its population than the United States does. They don't even have an inheritance tax. And I say this as someone who is pro-inheritance tax since I don't want Hassan to have access to his mega-rich daddy's money. The American model, granted, is not without its perks either. While the US has a weaker social safety net than most other developed nations, it is also extremely innovative and creative. Its high wages and low regulations attract the best and brightest from across the world. It also has far better household income than nearly any other country.
Dude, you gotta get out of the doorway.
Microstates, which in turn gives one freedom.
Oh
to
my
spend
god, I'm
as
gonna
they
punch you
please.
right in the mouth.
The state of Alabama has a higher household income than the country where I live in, Canada. Yeah, by this metric, we got totally outclassed by inbred rednecks. The Chinese, European, and American economic models each have their ups and downs. We live in a world of trade-offs. Trade-offs between markets and equality, freedom and fairness, innovation and precaution. Yet none of this nuance matters to Hassan and his fan base of 14-year-olds whose only understanding of the economy is making microtransactions in premium gaming and giving their daddies hard-earned cash to Hassan Piker on Twitch. This leads us to the question of why Hassan's incoherent economic beliefs have gained traction among young people in the first place. One reason is the affordability crisis, and most of all the housing crisis, which has gripped nearly every advanced economy on the planet, in cities of any significance. Here is a castle which costs roughly the same amount as a shit shack in Toronto. Granted, the castle lacks any beautiful vistas of homeless encampments. Another is the increased interest in government intervention in the economy, which was spurred by the Great Recession. Watch my video on when trolls ruled the internet to learn more. On top of that, millennials and Zoomers have no lived recollection of the Cold War. None of them have ever had to watch the news of Soviet bread lines, let alone line up in a Soviet bread line. The closest thing they've ever gotten to any of this is lining up for unicorn matcha lattes. Hassan came into prominence during the rise of RedTube, which was named after the anarcho-communist book called The Conquest of Bread, in reference to the lack of food for peasants under the then Russian Empire. The problem today for most poor people, at least in relatively developed nations, is not a lack of access to bread. Is that they have way too much fucking bread. Like, way too much bread. Like, look at this Pizza Hut price. Forget Ozempic. Maybe he can switch to communism to solve the obesity epidemic. Because younger people have no recollection of the Cold War, the word socialism just doesn't cause them to shit their pants like it does for boomers. The over-misuse of the word socialism by right-wing boomers for any social program, government regulation, or moderate politician has made the accusation almost meaningless. My personal favorite example of this phenomenon is the book by Richard Ferguson called Satan, Socialism, and the Democratic Party. I personally love the cover. Here is Lucifer himself, controlling Karl Marx, Mao, Hitler, and Joe Biden.
The body endures
The book
more
is written for people in their 80s.
Alright, you know what? I'm gonna log out for a bit. I'm gonna get something to eat and take a shower because I'm starting to stink. I'll be back on in a couple hours. I got nothing else to do today. But, I'm just gonna take a short couple-hour break. I will see you guys later.
A normie European-style social democrat when he is trying to cloak his more extreme beliefs.
This is a classic example of what happens when your father